Liz put together our whole wedding registry. I said, I don't want one. We're doing a destination wedding. I don't want to ask people for anything. And she was like, we're going to do it anyways. And I said, all right, put a bidet on there. And that was like the one thing
You're
that
like,
I
put
was...
a bidet.
Put a bidet.
Oh my God.
Hey guys, this is Haley King, and you're listening to Unstable Discourse.
Imagine listening to Unstable Discourse Season 1, the greatest voices in podcast history, in a once-in-a-season collection. Time Life Music presents the Season 1 recap.
Nobody's really ever tried that before.
It's funny that that's real.
Over 2 hours of absolute lunacy
It's nonstop.
And I know that's not easy.
by all your favorite hosts. Alex Seminary,
He is such a sweetheart. He really is.
Ryan Fancher,
Making it look so effortless and having fun.
Sean Callahan,
I'm feeling stimulated.
Sean Callahan's brother.
Back in the day, I was a manager for video stores.
Get the Ultimate Recap podcast for the low price of free.
Is this good? Everybody freaks out because they don't want to miss out.
The impact is so immeasurable.
What are you alluding at?
Yeah, what do you mean, Alex?
But wait, use your credit card and Jason will use it to buy shit on Amazon.
Once it hits the back of your throat, you're done.
That's right. You get over 2 hours for free. You'll never listen to any other podcasts.
Out of mad personal curiosity.
Guaranteed.
Dude, I've heard nothing but bad things, but this endorsement makes me want to get out there and check it out.
They stayed together. They rebranded themselves.
It seems like it changes every friggin' week.
Came out of nowhere.
It's just in my head. I cannot wait.
This episode is not sold in stores. Call 1-800-UNSTABLE to listen. Just kidding. You're listening to it now.
Oh my, welcome in to the season finale of Unstable Discourse, Season 1.
Episode 15.
1-5.
I forgot what we do here.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God.
It's been how many weeks? How many weeks?
How many weeks?
8
6?
weeks.
100.
8 weeks.
No,
weeks.
not 8.
7.
Yeah.
7.
Seven?
It's almost 8 weeks. We're at
Almost 8
7
weeks.
Yeah.
It was August 20th when we recorded.
It's been a long time. It's been 14 years since we've last
Yeah, it
gotten
really has.
It's been 85 years. Yeah, no joke. It's we're trying to remember how to do this thing. It's not only has it been a long time, but I think everyone's been so busy.
That's why it feels like 85 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It
and
really
that's why
does
it
feel
had
like
to
so
have
much
been.
more time.
Yeah, it had to be 45 years.
So yeah, we're back, guys. We're super excited. We know you guys have been waiting. Thanks for your patience. We are going to recap this season. We're going to look back at how far have we come. Like what was this little journey?
Things
like?
we did right.
I listened to
Things we did wrong.
Yeah, we'll get into it. But I listened to episode 0, and we have come a ways from episode 0.
In that episode, your guys' voice is like when they do the kindergartners on South Park. You have like little baby voices in episode 0. Yeah.
If you guys don't mind, we're gonna
Ryan
we're gonna
sounds like
record some
Nora.
stuff.
Yeah. Is it okay if we talk about disc golf?
Yeah.
My name's Ryan and I like this.
Will you guys
That's how
listen?
long ago it was.
Please.
It took us a while to come into our own. I really feel like we got off on a strong start. If you look back at like any other podcast, typically that first episode is a little bit rough because it just takes time to find your rhythm.
I mean, we hit the ground running until Jason showed up. But I
Right,
mean,
and then I
you
tripped
know,
all of
And
you.
then I was like,
we-
we're talking about
We
Pixar
were-
again?
got him.
all right,
JK.
we're gonna recap the
said you
season
liked it.
and we're just gonna break it down, man. We're gonna talk about this little journey, and before we do that, this whole thing starts with Fired Up.
It sure does.
Fired up.
Ooh, you know what?
Ooh.
It doesn't start with Fired
Yeah,
Up.
it doesn't
I
start with
didn't-
fired up.
No, it does.
'Cause
See, I told you we
Man.
forgot how to do this.
What?
It's been 8 weeks, 14 years,
What?
85 years.
We are
We-
here at Delwood Disc Golf
We
Shop.
normally-
Oh,
Right.
geez.
We
Okay.
do some intros.
They don't even know who we are.
Strike
Where
that.
are we?
Right.
Reverse it. Okay.
Yep, we're here at Delwood Disc Golf Shop at the world famous Canyons at Delwood Park.
Mhm.
We're here with Ryan Fancher of Unstable Disc Golf Gear,
Yes, sir.
Sean Callahan of Delwood Disc Golf,
Ba-da-ba-dow!
He brought it back.
and Jason
I
Callahan.
thought we were over Bada Badow, but we're not. Ba-da-ba-dow.
A
Yeah.
bag of tricks.
Yeah.
And I'm Alex Seminary of Disc Golf Chicago. Now we can start to move along.
Are you not gonna ba-da-ba-dow?
I haven't done it yet.
You have right. That's what I'm saying.
Ba-da-ba-dow.
Oh, very nice.
Ooh, that was
That was
good.
nice.
That was
That was
clean.
Nailed it. Yeah.
Well
I've been waiting
done.
for it.
Well
I'm
done.
the judge. You nailed it.
All right.
Yeah.
Hold up a 10.
Can you hit that same exact fired up?
I'm gonna. It was something like
He can't.
fired up. Oh, that was a little bit better.
Ooh, I like that one.
That was auto tune.
Fired up. Yeah. Stay in that mindset.
There we go. All right.
Whoa, whoa. What is that? That's a commercial. That is.
Sandals.
It's like a cleaning. I don't know.
Sandals,
I don't know what it
Jamaica.
is, but yeah, sounded great.
Brian, what are you fired up about today?
I am fired up about actually doing this again, but also that things are starting to ramp down with my business so that I can start doing disc golf stuff again, which sounds weird because I've been doing disc golf stuff
Nonstop.
constantly
For as long
but
as I've known you.
my own disc golf stuff. Jason and
Playing.
I, well, playing for one, but Sean continually bugs me about getting more stuff in the shop because Unstable Disc Golf Gear doesn't have a whole lot of stuff in the shop anymore.
Wow.
Because he's making player packs.
Because I'm making
Yeah.
player packs and
Every
doing
single day.
and doing dog rescue shirts and car show shirts and all of these things. And Jason was actually helping me out last night, cleaning some stuff up and sorting shirts and stuff. And he can see like I don't even have room to move around because of all the junk in my shop right now. But it's all starting to disperse, and I can see a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to start doing some Unstable Disc Golf stuff again.
So does that mean coming up with some like original shirt ideas and
Well,
some-
that's the problem that actually Jason and I were talking about last night is I now am starting to see that I will have the time, and I just have no idea what I want to do with it.
it's
yet.
a it's a
So
fresh
He's
palette, dude.
in a creative slump.
yeah, I am. I mean,
the dry gets well.
strike that.
The well.
The dry gets well.
I was so confident, dude. The well gets
knew.
dry.
The well
gets
I
dry.
was so excited to chime in
Yeah.
because I have
Well-
been complaining about this exact
And
same thing.
here's what it is. We just we discussed this last night. The dry gets so well because people are constantly asking me to do designs for them, whether it be discs or shirt idea designs or just logos or stuff for their website or whatever graphic design stuff we need. But they're always like, you know what? Figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Hard.
I want something and I'm not going to tell you anything about what I want. I just want you to just figure it out. And for so long I had done that. And now it's to the point where, you know what?
You've become the guy that does that.
Fuck you. Tell me
Right?
something about what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I'm doing some trophies for this weekend for cash days, and I have set myself up for failure because every year I've done something cooler and better and like on this theme. And now like
And that's one that you've always gone the extra mile for.
I've
those
tried
guys.
to,
Yeah.
and like it's on Saturday, and I am just now like, oh
mean
God, trying
It's
to
a good
2
thing
days?
Hoppy and Steve won't hear this until next.
Yeah, they'll know. Yeah, but
It'll already
and I
be
think
over
I've
with.
got something going, but it just takes so much mental energy that it's just
It
draining.
does.
So by the time I'm done with all of that stuff, when I sit down and say, "Ooh, I want to do Unstable Disc Golf stuff," no, like I can't.
Mhm.
It's
Right.
impossible for me to spend that mental time doing that. So hopefully something will come to me when I start having a little bit more time. But I am
I'm sure it
fired
will.
up about seeing that light at the end of the tunnel. So
Yeah.
it's coming.
On this same note, I've been waiting to tell you until I had 2 days before I need it. But I'm going to need a fantasy football trophy from you at some point.
Oh, cool. Okay. So no. The answer is
Dog,
no.
it's like
And he has
two-
no idea what he wants it
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah.
You figure
But
it
he's
out.
certain
You
that you'll
figure
be
it.
able
Hey
to
man,
figure it
you
out.
figure it out.
Hey,
You
It's
know
like
what I mean?
3 months away. I'll give you some ideas.
Yeah. I did do that with Disc Golf Chicago too.
That trophy
those
is
trophies.
the coolest.
That was one of my favorite
I
trophies
love
I've
that
ever done.
trophy.
That one was super
Which
fun.
one was that?
Quentin Thorson got it from
Yeah, it's like the
disc
big
golf, the 2019
giant
Invitational.
shield with the
Yes.
red acrylic swoosh on it,
yes.
and
that
like
was very.
Yeah, we got to get a picture of that. That
That's
that
some
thing
rad
came out
shit.
so cool.
yeah, that one was
That's the
super
reason
fun.
why they come to you and say, "Hey man, can't you just?
I know. I need
Can't
to
you just
sit down
make it
and-
awesome?"
Didn't Ishmael bring some idea to you on that one?
I don't remember, but I need to just start doing really shitty trophies for a
Right.
while,
To
and then people are
discourage
going to be
people.
like, I don't want him to do them anymore. Yeah.
I was
So-
saying either, well, okay, you could go the make them shitty route or just charge such a crazy amount that only people who really, really want it will.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate doing that, but it's going to have to come to that at some point.
One or
But
the other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
You got to be that guy.
Before we get to Sean's fired up, I just want to point out this episode is brought to you by White Claw.
The claw is
Indeed.
the law.
Ooh.
Who makes White Claw?
Come on, Pete.
Come on, White
Pete
Claw.
from UDisc probably.
Pete,
makes-
come on, Pete. Where you at? Come on, Pete. Make it happen. Here we go.
All right, Sean, what are you fired up about?
Well, what I wrote down is break time motherfuckers. What I mean by that is exactly what Ryan just said.
Sorry, I ruined it.
But yeah, I feel exactly the same way. Light at the end of the tunnel. We only have a couple more events, and it has just been a doozy, man.
Whirlwind.
I mean, like, we knew what we were getting into,
Yeah.
but now having, now being at the end of it and looking back and going like,
The dry has become so well.
it's fucking dry. I mean, me fucking up that phrase is a good indication of how I feel, because that's, it's just
Your fry is brained right now.
the fry is fucking brained.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get back into doing bag tags, which to me is like
Just a
so
simple-
simple,
Yeah.
just a weekly league where it's not this huge thing we have to work towards and,
It's
get
a-
player packs for and all this stuff.
It's
So
a double-edged sword the way you guys do things, because you look back at the last couple months, it's a blur. But if you actually look into it, you put on some sick events, you've put out sick players packs, amazing experiences have been given to so many people that are a part of this community. What you guys have poured out, like your outflow from the last couple months, it's crazy. Like, but you can't even feel it. You can't like bask in it or like appreciate it, because it's just such a whirlwind.
I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them.
when it's happening, we are in work mode. Even though it seems like I'm having a lot of fun, I am most definitely in work mode going, okay, where's the guy on, where's the fourth guy for that card? Cause we got to get this, tea time out. And
when you put your standards are as high as they are, it's a lot of pressure to make sure no things are slipping through the cracks. And
we take great pride in that stuff.
I know you guys hate
So.
when you yourselves get talked about, so I'm doing it for you. But yeah, what
Thank you.
The exhaustion is worth it. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I will say that I had heard for years the term imparcerated thrown around, being outside of the disc golf scene, but I had heard the term. And then this year I was like, I'm going to go check out what that's all about. And was blown away. It was unbelievable. It made me so proud, even from the outsider's perspective. I was so proud of what you guys had accomplished, the level of professionalism that I saw, even though it was unsanctioned, it was legit.
Yeah.
There was no screwing around, and it was phenomenal. I had such a blast out there that one day.
You know what
Seeing
fills
you
my
guys
heart?
do it.
That you talk about that, not what you're saying about incarcerated, but that you just used the word unsanctioned so confidently.
Oh,
He did.
Oh my God, I've learned something.
You're learning about disc golf.
He's
and
doing
it.
it.
Is
You're
absolutely
doing it, Peter.
You're doing it, Peter.
Perfect.
You're doing it.
Doing what?
Using your imagination, Peter.
That is what I love.
You got to get the hook drop for that.
Oh, I will definitely.
But like Ryan said too, I mean, just being able to kind of focus more on DDG stuff and gear, winter gear for DDG. Like people look forward to us, what hoodies are they going to do? Like,
Ooh, beanies.
now we have to like live up to the hoodie hype and like start planning for that stuff. So it's happy, but also like ramping up in just a different direction at the same time. Yeah. So,
But at least
all
what you're
good.
ramping up toward is a little more manageable.
but the planning, I'm sure, will begin sooner than we think it will.
I
mean, it really has already began.
Yeah, our first tournament for the tour series is usually in March, and as soon as the January hits,
I mean, we're going to be like, hey, what we got to order discs.
yeah, like as soon as the New Year hits, we have to order discs for that tournament. Like,
Really?
that's in like
Just
2.5 months. Yeah,
Wow.
that's it. So,
Hey,
yeah,
do we
it
have a
starts
bunch
all
of
over.
holidays or anything coming up soon?
No.
No. Good. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Man, I'm excited.
So I
for you
don't
guys.
want any of that to sound like a bummer, because
No.
it is a very good exhaustion.
Right.
Can
Yeah,
I
it's
say
great.
that?
Can I say, we'll probably mention it later, but like we got to the point where I feel like running Shanny Classic, and I had very little to do with it that day, but like
Wrong.
running Shanny Classic that weekend was probably one of the best run, smoothest tournaments I've ever seen.
That was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was incredibly easy.
Yeah, there wasn't a
from,
lot
like,
of BS. It was great.
No, like all the players
The
had a good
weather was
time and everything was
perfect.
perfect. And like, it ran super smooth. There were no like scorecard issues. There were no, there were a couple backups, but that's Shanahan. That's
Nobody
not,
came up
like
hollering or screaming
no,
or like
it
this
was just
OB
so
or,
it was so
great.
textbook that it was ridiculous. So having
Both days we were just we were throwing discs.
we were throwing discs. Yep. And
We were actually throwing stuff.
yeah, it was great. So I think we've gotten to the point this season where it had been pretty polished. So hopefully we can piggyback on that starting next year. So yeah.
So the expression "it's all downhill from here" that can be taken a couple different ways, but does that feel appropriate now? Like things are going to get a little. I always take "it's downhill from here" as you're not going to have to work as hard now. Like you're over the main hump, and now you're just gonna. It's a little less effort,
but it starts to go a lot faster.
Yeah,
that too.
So yeah, I mean, it can go both ways.
Gotcha.
And I think too,
Just like
I
Jason.
mean, we've been on
got him. First one of the episode, got him.
and I'm sure we'll talk about this more later, but just really focusing on the stuff where we need to put more energy into it. Like I think that this year has really opened my eyes, and I think I speak for the whole crew, that when you spread yourselves out too thin, then we're not doing awesome all the time. And I would like to do less, but even better.
Just be pickier about what you're going to take on next year.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure everybody can appreciate that.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is that if you guys did step back a little bit with the events, there seems to be more people popping up that want to be running events, and like the gaps will be filled by other people who want to do their other things.
Yeah.
So luckily you've inspired people in this year. So you can take a little bit of a, not back seat, but you can take a little off your plate, and the community won't suffer because other people want to step up.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will touch on that when I get to local route as well.
Okay.
Jason, what are you fired up about?
I'm fired up about two things. There were two amazing things that happened in the last 6 years since the last time we recorded.
Since 1987.
Yeah.
What year is it?
One of them is I watched the first 2 seasons of Cobra Kai, and it is one of the best shows I've ever experienced in my life. It is absolutely phenomenal. It is well.
They knew that it was us watching.
Right. Exactly. They were like,
this is the guy.
white guys in your late 30s, early 40s, buckle up.
The guys that sit on Wikipedia for way too long each and every week, reading about details, obscure bullshit that nobody really cares about.
It touches on every part of that universe that they created in those movies in a way that you don't ever anticipate. You would not have thought, looking back at the Karate Kid movies, you wouldn't think that they were building a universe until you watch Cobra Kai, and then you're like, holy shit.
But they weren't, were they? I mean,
weren't.
Somebody's retroactively built that universe.
Right, but the show is so well written
you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know. It's such a seamless transition from those original movies into Cobra Kai. It's phenomenal.
Ryan, have you watched?
I've not. I'm Sean.
He's doing homework number 1.
Yes, Sean and Jason, to a lesser extent, had mentioned to me that I need to watch it, and I am now on the very beginnings of season 2 of Lost for the first time.
Did you restart Lost earlier this year?
Yes, I did.
And my wife
or 18th.
Yeah, my wife had not seen it either, so we are brand new newborns to this. And every night after every episode, I message Sean and I'm like, "Are you serious about this?" And all he does is send little
polar bears, dog.
Yeah. All he does is send little emojis like,
why did that shark have the logo on it?
Yeah,
that's what he said. Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah. And so because I know he knows and I know he's excited and I think it's funny that I am excited, in the same way that he may have been, but he knows what's going on and doesn't
that's the beauty of that show. I wish I could forget that I watched it and watch it again.
Yeah.
To have you experience that is so exciting.
So there are several series that I have watched. I don't watch TV very often. I don't watch shows very often, but this is one that I am already anticipating feeling that way. Like when it's over, I'm like, God damn, I wish I could do that again.
Well, don't worry. Cobra Kai is right there to scoop you up.
Well, that will be next.
Homework number 2.
And I would say after Cobra Kai, The Boys on Amazon, huge fan of that show.
I watched the first season of that. That was great. I can't wait to get into the second.
Also, I've never watched Lost. After you finish it, I'll do my part and I'll watch it as well.
Dude,
fantastic.
I love
show.
it.
I know.
Great. So that was part 1, right?
Okay.
Part 2 is big into Instagram. Obviously, I have multiple Instagram accounts. And there is an Instagram account that I want to shout out because it is the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Is it my professional work account?
It is your professional work account now. No. I've seen your professional workout, and you need to step it up. No, I'm just kidding. No, there's a dude that he goes by the handle Airfryer Guy. And if you don't know Airfryer Guy, find out about Airfryer Guy right now. Because what he's doing is like Cobra Kai was tapped into my brain. This dude is tapped in my brain. So in case you haven't picked up, I like to sing randomly. That's just my thing. Like, I just will sing when I'm talking, and I love it so much. Even though my voice sounds like shit, I don't care. I like to sing. And what this guy, my voice sounds okay.
When you sang the Pink Floyd intro to the show,
it was auto-tuned.
Yeah, was it auto-tuned?
No,
you said you tweaked it a little,
no,
but for the
not
most
at
part,
all. I didn't do anything to it.
Oh, even better. Yeah, see?
Ryan's looking at the camera, guys. He's looking at the camera.
Yeah. Why don't you just do a Jim look at the camera?
Jim look.
But Airfryer Guy, if you don't know, what he's doing is he's making small videos of him making food with his air fryer and singing an original song while he does it about what he's making. And my God, is it some of the best? It's on the level of Hamilton. Like it's that good in my opinion.
I have not seen Hamilton.
I watched that like
the
last
level of
month.
creativity in Hamilton. Like this guy's on that level.
Wow,
it's phenomenal.
Good for him.
I've seen
so
some of
funny.
the best of that has made it to the front page of Reddit.
Yeah,
it's good. And also, if you don't own an air fryer, get on that.
Yeah, get on it. Yeah.
It's just an oven.
No,
air
it's
fryer
not.
doesn't like it doesn't fry anything.
It takes me like 45 minutes to cook a baked potato in the oven.
Okay.
I think in an air fryer it takes
you could sing this while you're
15 to 20 minutes, and it's way better than it comes out of the oven.
And it's way better.
See, Sean gets it.
Yeah, no,
we're talking about the air fryer guy. You should have been singing your praises of. I think what's the
New Zealand?
What's New Zealand? There you go.
Oh, he's
right
a Kiwi.
right side of Australia, right?
He's a Kiwi.
That little, I think he's from New Zealand.
A little chunk.
I've seen some of that. I'm a fan too.
I'm full obsessed. I follow him. I check it every day to see if he's uploading new content.
So Cobra Kai and Air Fryer Guy. Those are the big things in Jason's world right now.
Yeah, that's
rhyming.
Get on my level, people. When that's what you've got to be excited about, get on my level.
All right.
That's a man who enjoys the simple pleasures.
That's right.
What are you fired up about?
Well, so I wrote down what I was fired up about, and then I accidentally moved that to local route, and I didn't write down a new thing for fired up. What the hell?
You could enter competitions for whistling, dude.
We were just discussing how well you whistle.
Right.
We could have a whistle contest at some point.
Oh.
What we'll do is we'll have Sean write down a song that you have to whistle, and nobody else can see it, and then Jason has to see if he can guess what the song is.
No, that would be a good thing for next season.
A trivia thing?
Is we all do our 4 versions, and then they have to.
You
guess,
don't want to
like,
hear me whistle.
We did
Apparently,
part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4.
have you ever heard Ryan talk about how I whistle and all the notes are the same note?
No, really?
He was doing that to Mr. Big one time when we were in the van.
Like, to be with you?
Yeah, and so we all started singing what he had been whistling and singing, and this is what it sounds like. I'm the one who wants to be with you. So anytime that comes on now, that's how we sing that song.
Because when I whistle it, it's not
You
like...
got the one pitch. Yeah.
Okay.
I got what I got.
It sounds
great.
better in
It
your
was
head.
great. It
I'm
couldn't
bringing
have
us
been more
back.
funny. Okay.
I remember what I'm fired up about.
Fired up.
So there is a guy that has been running a putting league in, I think it was Humboldt Park. It was some neighborhood in Chicago. I can't remember exactly which one off the top of my head. But his name is Tommy Guns, which is...
Rocky
and I was
Five.
like, oh, is that just like a persona? And it was like, no, that's his name.
Ooh.
I was like, badass. So he reached out to me because he basically he came across Disc Golf Chicago group, and he saw that we were like working on bringing a course to Chicago. So he and I ended up connecting just to see like what's what, like what are you up to, and where are we really at with that process?
Sniffing each other's asses.
Yeah, exactly. And he happens to be, I think, possibly the like savior, like the golden child who's going to help make this real. He is connected to a lot of people in the Chicago Park District. He's got like actual connections. Some of these people that he's in touch with are already helping him get baskets put in the ground in parks in Chicago. So like one basket here, 2 baskets here, it'll help people get introduced to the sport.
Right.
And so he knows the right people. He knows how to, navigate these conversations. I
don't think they're going to tell him no with a name like Tommy Guns.
No. Exactly. Yeah.
Are you sure they're not putting in like barbecue pits Or
Yes.
like, is that what that is?
I'm sure.
Like,
Deer feeders.
That's a basket.
This guy is really cool, by the way. He's the putting league he runs is like, it's like for dads, basically. You show up, he said he provides beer. All you have to bring is your own koozie and your own disc, and then they just like run a putting league like in a park. And he said most of the people that show up are just like middle-aged dads who don't have a lot of time to get out and have a full round. But
And the league is called Dads and Beers with Guns. That's what it's called. No.
No, I don't know what it's called actually, but he's totally legit, very, very like a clear communicator, has an idea, has a vision, and
Been playing a long time, or
and he's
do
he's
I
basically
not know
like
him?
Yeah, right.
down to help us make this a reality. In my mission to bring a course, I have basically just been trying to put the right people in the right places because I don't really know how to do this, but I've started to generate an audience, some funds. And now I feel like there's a guy sort of at the front of this, or we can kind of put at the front and help make this a reality.
Yeah, there needs to be a facilitator, and if that's what you are, then that's what it is.
Yep, fine with that. And you know, there's been a lot of support lately for this mission. Like our fundraising efforts are starting to ramp up a little bit, so it's starting to become a real thing. It's such a big deal for how many years I've been running this thing to be taking those steps forward. And it's like my world has been so busy lately that I have forgotten how big of a deal that this connection is.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what I'm fired up about. And I need to like water that garden a little bit more because there's so much good potential right there.
We'll keep that going into the spring and get some
And
shit
Tommy
done.
Guns, if you're listening, come see us at Delwood Disc Golf so I can put a face with that name.
Yeah. He's got like a big beard. He's
There's no way that he hasn't been here at some point.
No, he may have, but I know that he's been taking COVID very seriously, so he has like not been leaving the city.
I know, but
very
if he's
much.
been playing for that long, like,
yeah, I can't. We definitely talked about Delwood. I just can't remember what he said. Anyways,
awesome.
Yeah, that's what we're all fired up about. Booyah!
Yeah.
Let's move along to our trivia portion of the night. Ish. We're gonna recap what happened with the last trivia portion from episode 14. Jason, talk us through what's going on there.
So what happened there was we had done our Pixar trivia, and then we left it open to where we all checked off what Pixar movies we watched. There was one that we didn't watch.
Yep.
And we put that up there for the trivia portion of the night.
We even hinted at it throughout. Yeah, right. We even hinted at it by talking about some Pixar stuff.
Correct.
Oh yeah, if you go back and listen to that episode,
you can narrow it down.
You can narrow almost half of the movies off that list.
We had, I don't know, just over a dozen guesses or so. We didn't have a ton, but there was a decent amount. But unfortunately, nobody landed on it. And that's unfortunate because the one we all need to watch is Incredibles 2.
Yeah, and the prize was actually we were giving Sean's van away.
Yeah,
that was the one
and
that
you guys
somebody would have
really
wanted
dropped
to
the
win.
ball. You know,
Nobody guessed it.
It's a 2018. It's got like 20,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
It's got a great backup camera.
It's got a bed in the back. Yeah,
It's got a very small backup camera.
it's a Game Boy
About the
screen.
size of a Game Boy.
screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So nobody guessed.
Nobody guessed. We had guesses, but nobody guessed.
Well,
the
yeah,
right
nobody got
one.
it correct.
So yeah. Better luck next year.
Bummer.
Sucks for you.
So we'd all seen like most of the Pixar movies, but somehow Incredibles
definitely.
2 just slipped under the radar for all of us.
Right.
Yeah.
There was one other one that I think only one of us had watched. I was trying to
Brave?
remember. If it wasn't Brave, it was The Good Dinosaur. It was one of those two.
Oh, I watched The Good Dinosaur and I regretted it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
think-
not a fun Pixar movie.
Oh.
No,
you've both seen that? Then it must have been Brave.
I think it was.
Did you not see the?
I've not seen The Good Dinosaur. No.
Oh God!
You need to be careful
Brave.
with that. I know you've got a big heart. The Good Dinosaur could f you up a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, like it's you made me feel like it was a bad movie.
No.
No.
Like,
It's
a
you
fantastic
remember how
movie, right?
you remember
Oh.
the beginning of Up?
Oh yeah.
Imagine if that was the whole movie.
Definitely. Oh no, I'm done. No, thank you. No, are you kidding me? No.
Yeah.
That's a spoiler alert.
yeah.
I will take, and I don't want any part of it. I
Don't
need
do
to.
it.
I'm
You know the
exaggerating
beginning-
slightly.
You know at the beginning of Up?
Oh yeah. I'm already crying.
So yeah,
The
we had
wife dies?
no winner from that challenge, but it was a really cool
That's
challenge.
okay. That was a good one.
was a good
I had a
one.
lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. I just want to do more of that, and we don't even have to have a goal in mind. Can we just talk about what movies we've seen and
Yeah,
which
right.
ones we
Which one we
haven't
haven't
from
seen? Yeah.
genres that you pick?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, cool.
We'll put that in our parking lot for season 2.
Hey, there we go.
Hey, well that's a wrap on that segment, and that takes us into the Callahallander rundown.
Hey, come on, Pete. Let's get it going. already.
It's been 6 years. Any movement on that?
Brought to you by
No?
I told you I
No.
reached out to him one time. Nothing.
Yeah. All right.
We'll work on it in the off season.
Yeah.
Callahallander rundown. Only a couple left this year. Mayhem at Marilla 2 is coming up Saturday, October 24th.
Yep.
That is sold out. I believe there's one spot in open if it doesn't fill in the time before this episode.
You know
airs.
what's awesome? I already have the shirts and trophies done for that tournament.
This dude.
I was just asking Casey about that today.
I killed it with those. I just wanted to get them out of the way. Like, I love doing it,
Yeah.
but there's so much other stuff. I was like, I got to knock these out, and I did it.
Sick. We also have Mike Fierke's Movember Doubles. 6th annual. He's done that
love that
6
event.
times out here. It's amazing. Already, right?
Even if you don't
Super
disc golf,
fun.
you can come and just
it's
eat
awesome.
the food.
Dude,
Yes. Mike Fierke's parents kill it with the food.
all of it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was zoned out. What weekend is that?
That is Saturday, November 7th, the following
November
after
7th.
Mayhem
All right, good.
at Marilla.
No, 2 weekends after.
You had me at food.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
Yes,
they
you're right.
do
2 weeks.
like
Halloween in
Polishes.
between.
Was there chili? Like what else? I don't remember exactly.
It's been
I know
different
Polishes
the
for
last
sure.
couple of years.
Polishes
so
for
it's,
sure.
You know, you never
Yeah.
know what you're going to get, but it's
always
awesome.
just good for. It's a cold day usually, so it's like good barbecued stuff, just like warm up
Hot.
your tummy.
Yeah.
Following Saturday after that, November 14th, is the Trinity Doubles event that Thor
Yep,
runs out there.
correct.
Super fun. Great fundraiser for Trinity.
Strap in for that if you want to be a part of it, because it runs from the
that
wee
is
hours
a-
of the morning until
Yes.
the wee hours of
That
the
is a long
next
day, because in the morning of that same day is when we do the culmination of the whole tour series or point series, if you will, and do the skins match.
Mhm.
Tons
And
of
then
fun.
at night is the
Then at night, right? There's a little break, and then.
doubles glow event.
But don't worry, there's probably going to be like 3 or 4 kegs at Trinity all day long.
It's a big deal.
Has anyone ever tried to run a 24-hour tournament where there's like multiple rounds and you have to just keep playing? What do you think could somebody do in 24 hours? Like 5-6 rounds before they really hate
I don't know.
themselves?
Well, how many
Yeah.
holes did
They did like 6.
Gary
The 100 holes of hell.
No. Gary and
Joe Duncan
Joe did 24 hours of straight disc golf. And,
for a
and,
Guinness,
I remember that.
Guinness, yeah.
and got the Guinness World Record at the time, which has now been broken. But at the time, they did beat the record, and it was like 1,600 holes or something. I don't remember.
1,600?
Yeah.
I don't remember
Like,
what it
totally
was, but
nuts.
it was like they were very short holes. It was set up at a course that was very easy to navigate, very short holes.
I'm trying to imagine what the arm would feel like.
But they had officials there, so you weren't foot faulting, you weren't, step putting, you were doing it the right way. But there were also people behind them picking up discs and stuff, to help
so they
them
can move
out.
quickly.
Yeah, and
Sweet.
and they did it the right way, and
That's so dope.
I was there for a very small portion of that, and it was unbelievable to watch. But I don't know if we could run. I'm not going to do it. Yeah, but
I don't
You're
think I want
asking the
I don't
right
wanna be
guys,
part of
but
it
at the wrong time of the year.
Hey, you guys want to do a
Hey, you guys
marathon
want to do this for an
event?
entire 24 hours?
yeah, call me when they're on the last 4 holes. I'll come back.
Right.
I'm sleeping.
I'll
yeah,
check the scorecards. Yeah, so that's come on, Pete. Callahan rundown, for Christ's sake.
yeah, that's about it.
So that's all the tournaments, and then any special, like you're going to be bringing back tags at some point.
I am going to be bringing back Delwood Disc Golf bag tags on the first Saturday
there?
of November,
Oh.
which is this 7th. So I'm not, because that's November.
Right.
And that is here.
Yeah, right. So don't run tags that
So
day.
I'm not doing it then. Well,
So your calendar ran out right at the time where you were considering doing the delis.
Correct.
Have you gotten word that is 100% not happening?
it is
or-
definitely 100% not happening.
Yeah, that's
this year.
Yeah, this year. We are still attempting to figure out what we can do for next year as like for the 2020 season, but it wouldn't be happening until next year. You could still only have 50 people indoors right now.
Right. It would almost be like the
So-
Oscars, like you would give awards for the previous year, kind of
Right.
deal.
Oh, sure.
Which it kind of makes sense to have it after the year is
After
over.
the
but
year's over,
it does.
Yeah.
Either way.
But the only thing that's going to allow us to do it is having like more than 150 people in a building,
Yeah.
Sure.
Right.
because the space that we have to rent could have like 175, 200 people.
We'll have to
Well,
see.
I know there's a bunch of like glow leagues that have been popping up lately. Disc Golf Chicago has actually 2 at a time right now. We have 3 more Friday events. So basically at the end of October, that's when our Friday glow leagues are done. And then Pat Richard and Evan Gronland have started running leagues on Tuesdays. And that is supposed to run through the end of November.
Also glow.
Also
right?
glow.
Also
Dubs.
glow. Yep.
And I'll talk more about that in a second.
Oh, I was like,
Well, is Thor going to be having the Trinity Glow League starting soon?
it is the Trinity Glow Leagues run by Dave Hopkins.
Oh, is it?
And I think that starts this Friday.
That's got some history. That's been running for a long time, right?
Yep, he's been doing that for at least a couple of years now.
Yeah.
I know Mark Borowski helps out with that. I believe that's this Friday it starts.
I don't remember. Too much going on.
Yeah. I mean, there's like not a lot going on, but still enough going on that you're like, wait, shit.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Trinity Glow. Let's take a look, see if they have anything.
Ask Pete. Come on, Pete.
Hey, Pete. Come on, Pete. Trinity Links Glow Doubles League starts tomorrow, Friday, October 16th.
Okay. Well, there you
That's
go.
of no use to anybody listening to this.
That's correct, because they won't hear this for another 7 days.
Does the prison putting league start sometime soon?
That's another one that is up in the air, unfortunately.
On the chopping block.
One due to COVID, because we max out at 108 people. That's how many we can have. With only 50 people indoors, that's going to be kind of rough.
Yeah.
Telling 58 people that they cannot come.
The first couple of weeks, we were telling 50 to 60
we
people.
were, yes.
So that would be
like,
over 100 people we would be telling, no, you just drove 2 hours to not play.
So I know that I think Basket Cases was running a putting league in the Blue Island Brewery as well that just got nixed due to COVID reasons as well.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a big reduction in putting leagues this year.
Yeah.
But it would be cool if you listeners wanted to start running your own little pop-up mini putting leagues to keep everybody, keep things moving for the scene during the season.
Yeah.
Some of the big ones obviously are on pause for now. So putting the challenge out to you guys, put on little mini putting leagues and keep things going. Calhoun rundown. That's a wrap. Come on, Pete. And we are moving along to the local routes. I'll take over. I'll take first chair on local route since I took a long time coming up with my fired up.
I want to sing it, but I'm like, local route.
Okay.
Motherfucker.
All right.
I'll take first chair.
Go ahead.
This time. So my local route is an easy no-brainer. It's two guys I just mentioned. Pat, the Wonderkind Richard, and
He's
Evan
been here.
Gronland. You guys might know Pat from episode 14. Pat had reached
You mean
out
that
to me.
episode that we had 14 years ago?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
That one back.
He was 8 years old. Yeah.
Good times. Pat reached out saying, basically, he showed up to one of our glow leagues a couple weeks ago, and he was like, "This is my first glow event. This was awesome. Love it." I want to say,
still amazing that it's like that for him.
A couple days later, he messaged
I've
me
never
like,
seen this before.
"I'm thinking about doing my own glow league. Like, I don't want this to end," kind of thing. And I was like, "Hey, well, you can borrow whatever equipment that we have if that would be helpful." And he was like, "Yep, cool." And he just we did not have to talk about it very much. He was just gonna do it no matter what. So he and Evan started this new glow league at KLM in Hinsdale on Tuesdays. And to my knowledge, Pat hadn't run any kind of events before. Evan had, and he'd done that at KLM, but they have had better turnouts than I've ever had at our glow things. Like their first and second weeks have been better than any of the other events I've done at KLM. People have said that the events were run super smooth. He got everybody in and out quickly. They had a lot of fun, and he set up temp holes, and he didn't just do the bare minimum. He took it to 100 and made it awesome. And people are loving it, and I was just super impressed. We all love to see somebody step up.
A proud dad. Yeah.
I don't want to say dad, but I was just man,
a proud cousin.
Yeah, sure.
Proud second cousin. Yeah.
I'm just we all get excited when somebody wants to step up and start doing more things. Of course, it's Pat doing things awesome with no experience. He's just I'm going to do it, and he does it, and it's awesome, and people are really liking it. So, if you guys haven't heard yet, that's Tuesdays at KLM. They start by 7:00, and apparently he's been getting people out of there by 9:30.
I don't know how that's possible, but
it's crazy.
Awesome.
Crazy. And they had 31 people show up to the first one, 24 the next time.
Great.
And our typical weeks are more like 10 to 20 on a great week. So whatever he's doing, it's going really well. I haven't made it there yet to check out the event myself, but Evan and Pat are killing it. Shout out to you guys. Keep doing what you're doing.
Hell yeah.
And everybody go check those out.
Who's up?
Fanny.
Ugh.
I wish the listeners could see your face because how long are you going to keep up this facade you don't love it?
I don't love it.
You smiled when I said Fanny.
You're
smiling right now.
Because I like you. But I don't like what you're saying. Yeah. So my local route is, you may also remember our guest from a previous episode in 1994 that we did. It was called LinkedIn. Mr. Mike Zivanovic.
11
is probably.
Mumchalo.
Yeah, Mumchalo Zivanovic. He has gone from, just creating, Link Disc Golf. He has, in the last couple tournaments, set up a food cart.
He has done, he did Circle 1 Open.
Circle 1. And
he did
then
Workforce.
The next day, he did
Workforce.
And he's done Shanny Classic this last weekend, both days. And he's going to hit up Cash Days this Saturday at Trinity. He has taken the hot dog Polish sausage to a level that I didn't know was possible with the help from his family, his father.
Sammy has taken it to the next level. Let's
listeners need to do themselves a favor and check out that Polish.
Yes, please.
Phenomenal.
So he's brought something to the table that we never had and didn't know that we were missing, I think. Yeah. Because between shotgun rounds, when we were doing shotgun starts, everyone would drive to wherever they needed to or pack a lunch or whatever it was and then come back and how much time before second round, all that constantly. And then
when does second round start?
Yeah. How many people
who's in your mind when you say that?
Oh, I'm not going to say.
Yeah, I can't say.
Because there was definitely a voice.
There's a couple. Yeah. And there were always people that were like running to their tee box second round because they had to go to wherever it was, drive 25 minutes away in their hour break, that kind of stuff. But he has brought the food to
the people.
Mm-hmm. And not just the food, but like killer food. He's got
super good
Italian
food.
Sausages, Italian beef that everybody's like, he sells out of it every time. The Polish sausage, which is...
The hot dogs are like legit foot long.
Huge hot dogs. Chicago style, however you want. He's got chips. He's got drinks. Shanny Classic, he showed up in the morning with crepes with hazelnut spread and bananas with walnuts on it.
Yep.
You guys know all I have to do is text me that kind of stuff. And
just killing it. So... Yeah,
that's what got me through the event.
Yeah,
looking forward to the food. Mike was talking to me about that back at Illinois State, I think, and he may have talked to us about it when we were at
Ledgestone
as well. I'm just like impressed. He kicked off a brand. He kicked off a brand this year, and I mean, not only is he making this food, it's another brand. I mean, it's like. Yeah, he's taking on like big projects and like coming through on them.
I don't want to say like their 2-year, 5-year plan, but like their immediate plan that is in the works right now is to have a food truck, and they're doing it. And so this is
because they want to be able to do more.
Yeah,
it shouldn't just be disc golf.
Like, right? They're doing is already light years beyond what we've had.
I love that. Yeah. There's talkers and there's doers, and I love doers, man.
Yeah, he's killing it. So. Done. Yeah, he's bringing the food to the people, and that is something that everyone needed. And what I saw this weekend that really warmed my heart was what we had been missing with tee times, because people play, especially with a 2-day event, you're only playing one round. Those guys that tee off at 8:00 in the morning, they get done at 11, and they're peace out, see ya.
Yeah.
And we don't see them again until the next day. And there were 200 people that played that day. There's a ton of people that were just hanging out.
Yep.
And just having a good time. The weather was perfect, so that played a part. But like, what else do you have to do? It's a Saturday. It's beautiful. Sit down and have a hot dog.
There's food.
Yeah.
There's food. Bullshit with your friends. Watch everybody tee off on hole one. Have a good time. And that was there. That's what I had been missing. And so like, I'm stoked for that. And he's killing it. So that's my local route. Yeah.
Do you know if he's got any plans to bring like a chicken or sausage pizza to the menu?
Every time I see him, he's propositioning me with some new thing.
It's probably right after I told him to cool his jets too.
Yes, probably.
He comes to me and I'm like, hey, take it easy, bro.
Yeah.
And then he comes to Ryan like, hey,
before you say what you're going to say, cool your jets.
Cool your fucking jets, Mike.
Yeah.
Wait, is anybody else picking up on this reference at all?
No, I missed it.
Chicken or sausage pizza?
I can't remember the exact way that it unfolded, but when we were at Ledgestone, we went to that place, and he had that super awkward exchange with the waitress where she brought.
And then he was real worried. Like he thought that she was really pissed.
Yeah.
He brought a chicken pizza, or
she brought a pizza,
sausage,
and he didn't realize there was both chicken and sausage.
And he kept saying, "It's cool. It's not what I ordered, but it's cool. It's cool."
Right.
He mentioned it to her, and you could see her face immediately, like, "Oh, I gave him the wrong thing," and he was like, "No, don't take it the wrong way. This is great. I just didn't expect it to be on it." And he couldn't have tried to be nicer.
But the tone in his voice never changed.
Yeah.
Right. And he was trying to legitimately apologize.
If I remember correctly,
it was still like,
so much tension that eventually I was like, can we just clear the room here? Like, he's serious. Like, he's totally okay, just so you know.
He kept trying, but it was like, even though this isn't what I ordered, I'm really happy with this.
Yeah.
And she was like, it's okay. I'll bring you something else. She's like, no, I'm really happy about it.
I am legitimately happy with this.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, it's so good. I
Yeah.
forgot about that. That's great.
Anyway, he's doing great, and he needs to continue that, because just about Friday night lately, I've been like, that Polish is coming tomorrow. Like, I'm looking forward to it now.
Yeah.
And so it needs to continue.
I'm going to get out. Like, I can't play right now because of my knee.
Yeah.
But I want to come out and hang out and have some food.
Yeah, show up.
And
at
it's like,
Trindo,
it's just amazing how it's become a part of what we're doing.
Yeah.
So quickly.
So quickly, right? Yeah.
You know, like,
that's
he's
great.
there. I mean,
From
he's
now
there
on.
right when we get there in the morning, and he left after I left from Shanty Classic.
Yeah.
You know how you know it's dope?
Wow.
If he stopped doing it now, people would be like, hey, where's
He's
He's
my
only
hot dog
been to like
guy.
4 events, and people are like, wait a minute. How legitimately he did it, too. He's telling us all about how he needs to prepare all the food and all the permits that he needs, and the commissary kitchen that he needs to prepare the foods in, and all of these things that needs to happen. And he needs to contact the county and the park district of every event that he's doing to get permits every single time he does it. And he's doing that, you know, and
Good on him, man.
you can
That's great.
imagine how many people just try and skate all of that
Right.
stuff.
Or find out how hard it is and tap out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And by the way,
Yeah.
also left his job and started a new job in his personal life.
Yeah, like a month ago.
outside of this at the same time.
Right.
Dude,
Really?
what?
Yeah.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
When
I believe
when I
still doing
transitioned-
something very similar,
Correct. Yeah.
but
Still,
Yeah.
it's a huge life stressor.
Yeah.
When I transitioned between my last job and this current job, I was not shy to tell everybody, don't talk to me about anything. Don't expect anything of me. I'm in a transitional period, and I'm capable of half of what I'm normally capable of.
Right. Yeah.
To hear that he's taking on a
That's
big
expected,
project
yeah.
at the same time, like I've always had mad props for Mike.
Yeah.
This takes it to another level.
Yeah.
Great local
Mike
route.
inspires me to, I think Ryan will agree. He does all of these things, and there is all of these stressors coming into this thing that he's trying to bring, and he does it with just this face you want to kiss. Like, Mike is the sweetest guy.
Yeah, he is.
I have a very short wick.
You do.
I think
want-
people know that, and I'm trying to
Raphael?
like see his longer wick and go, I need to remember that. If I have the patience of Mikey Z,
Yeah.
I can, make the experience better for everybody.
You want to tell him
He's
to shut
easy
the
to
fuck
be
up.
around.
Right.
You want to hug him at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's so
Yeah.
like
your
comforting to
Splinter?
be around. He's just got a vibe that makes you.
He's just a great dude.
immediately
He just
relax.
brings a great
Raphael,
vibe.
he's your Splinter.
Yes.
Oh. Ooh. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah,
There it is.
killer local route. Sean, you got something?
I do, and it's funny that we had to discuss whether or not any of us had ever shouted out this person. I think it's appropriate that we're waiting to the very last one. He'll get a kick out of that.
Saving the best
And
for last.
I'm also going to couple this with a little bit of an apology to this guy in a funny way. It's Thor Bachelor. He's the homie of all homies. Everybody knows Thor. Everybody loves Thor. For Shanty Classic, this is the apology part, Thor, so I hope you're listening. A couple of days, like the week before leading up to Shanty Classic, and Thor knows how much of like a basket case I am about being on top of like all the tiny little details of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So he does this post and says that he's asking for people to do T-sign sponsors, right?
Saw
I'm sure
that.
you guys saw the post.
Yeah, I got tagged in it.
And I'm just like, bro, like we're so close to the
We didn't know he was going to do that.
we didn't know he was going to do that.
Yeah.
And he does it with the absolute best of intentions. And I gave him such a hard time. And we sat here and we went over it all. And Sheila had to print all these signs. And it turned out perfect. And it raised a ton of money for the event.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry, Thor, that I was being such a bitch about the signs. That's my bad. It was such a great idea. And it worked out so well. But seriously, Thor has been like... So, I mean, just the whole time I've been doing DDG from the jump, I mean, he was the first dude that came to me and said, like, I'm going to do all these tournaments and I want you to do the vending. And he kind of like, he brought me under his wing and showed me so much about what it means to run events. And like, then we've kind of just created this squad that I almost feel like the four of us, when we're together, we're just like untouchable because we have all four of us have these different, qualities that we bring to the events. And
You're taking it back to episode 1, dude.
yeah,
I think it was episode 1 where we talked about
Attorney
how
Journey.
important it was to have a squad
yeah.
and how everybody brings something different to the table. And you called out the role that Thor played in the squad. Like Thor was your every squad.
If
needs
it
a
has,
Thor.
I said this to him the other day. I said, Thor, if it has anything to do with vehicles, tools,
rules.
He's also very good with rules. If police show up, like those are all. That's all Thor shit. That's this shit that Thor's got to handle.
Yeah.
And we always joke about it. But no, Thor's awesome, and he's running the Trinity Doubles event. He's just a great dude. He's always been in my corner from day one with DDG. From day one,
There's never a question. He's never just not doing it.
Yeah.
There's never like, I wonder if Thor's gonna. No, he's already doing it right now. Yeah.
I'll also throw an apology out to Thor. And then Ryan, you can go next, and then Jason, you can apologize to him for something as well.
Okay.
When I first started running events with Chicagoland, before it was even Disc Golf Chicago, and I didn't know shit really about this area or what it takes to run events. I just said, we're going to be playing at this course on this day and this course on this day. I put a schedule out without checking with anybody. I just was like, I'm not worried about getting it right. I'm just going to get it done, and we'll see what happens. And Trinity was on the schedule a couple days before that event actually happened. And I'd never even played at Trinity before. So I didn't know that there was this whole culture around it. I didn't know it's a private course. Like I knew nothing. And I got a message from Thor that was like, hey, just so you know, I see you're planning to run an event here. The course is not available that day. We're doing something else. And I literally responded to him like, who are you, bro? Who are you to tell me where I can and can't run an event? And I just had no idea. And he was like, he could have been such a dick about it, but he wasn't. He was he was still really cool.
Yeah.
I was being a shit.
Right.
And he was still really cool to me about it. And like, for a long time, I didn't talk to him. I was like, I had him in this place in my mind where like, man, that guy's, he was really like, he rained on my parade, or, I had this like thing about him.
Right.
And then by the time I finally met him, I was like, I'm the worst. I am the worst person. He's awesome. He's so cool. He's so chill.
Thor's a great dude.
Man. Yeah. Okay, Ryan, what are you sorry about?
I only want to apologize to him for constantly trying to talk to him while he's on the phone. So if you know how Thor works, he has had some hearing issues, and he's got like in-ear like earpieces that he wears constantly.
That you cannot see.
You would never
if
know.
If you're not looking
because
for them, you'd never know
they're hidden, right?
Yeah.
But he has got his phone hooked up to this monitor so that he can hear in those earbuds what's going on in his phone. So he doesn't have anything on his ear. He doesn't have his phone in his hand. He doesn't have anything. So he's just walking around looking at you, and you start talking to him, and he'll start spouting gibberish.
And you're like,
and you, what are you talking about?
On the phone.
And you're on the phone. You're not even looking at me. You're not talking to me or anything. And so I have a habit of coming up to him and giving him whatever I've got, and he doesn't even know I'm standing in front of him. And I do it every single time he's on the phone. So I'm sorry, Thor. But you got to let us know. You have to have like a little red on air light or something.
Yeah. Just hold up a little sign.
Yeah.
Please, something, anything. Yeah.
That's great. Jason, what are you sorry about?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Thor, for every time I stared at you. You a handsome dude.
Got him.
He's a good looking dude. When I was here on the mic.
Fucking great. That's going to go straight to his head.
Yeah, that's all he needs to
When I was here on the mic for Clash and he was here, I would find myself
the stash on blast too.
I would find myself forgetting what I was supposed to do and just staring at that stash.
Yeah.
He has been such a huge part of the events that we do is Thor is he's the man. All the things that I will think that are impossible to make happen, that's when Thor steps in and he's like, oh.
He's your secret weapon.
Yeah. Just give me a minute. We'll figure this out.
I got this, bro.
So
awesome.
Yeah.
Thor's the man.
Yep.
Well-deserved last episode of the season.
And what's his go-to drink? Is he likes twisted teas, right?
He's a twisted tea guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Twisted twee.
Twisted twee.
Yeah.
The dry as well.
Yep.
The dry
as well. You reach for a twisted twee. Yep.
All right, Jason.
My local route, I have shouted him out in the past, but I'm going to shout him out once more because on the 10th of this month, my buddy, my boss, Mr. Ali Beg, he got married.
Ooh, 10-10-20.
On 10-10-20 to the lovely Gina House, and they are an amazing couple, and I was able to be there. They needed a DJ. They had big plans. COVID shrank those down to a backyard wedding, and he was like, will you DJ? And I was like, will I? Are you kidding?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just need to know when.
Yeah.
There isn't a will, it's a when.
Yeah. Right.
And I was happy to do it. We had an absolute blast. I had them dancing until well into the middle of the night. And it was an absolute blast. They're a wonderful couple. Shout out to Ali and Gina.
They're cool as hell.
They are.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys, that takes us to the meat and soul, if you will, or the heart and potatoes.
Heart and potatoes.
Heart and
Or
potatoes.
do we have any other ways
What
to
other
put it?
ands and ands or blank and blank are there? Could be the
lamb and tuna fish.
the lamb and tuna fish.
All right, we're gonna
Turner and Hooch.
Turner and Hooch. Get into the Turner.
Let's
Tom and
recap
Jerry
this
of the
season.
episode.
Jason, you're going to be the moderator
So
for this.
here's how we're gonna do it. We are gonna start at episode 1. You guys have 3 minutes to discuss anything you want to discuss about that episode.
Cool.
To lead the way, I'll read our recap for you guys, so you guys will at least have that little memory jog to be like, oh yeah, that's what we talked about.
Are you reading the recaps
We gonna
from
need it.
the Buzzsprout episode? Where are you getting the descriptions?
The description is right. So whatever podcast app you use, reading the description right off of that.
Oh, you're not going to
podcast
use the.
I think it's the
Instagram.
ones that you put on Buzzsprout, and then they filter from there, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So if you guys didn't know this, if you don't follow us on Instagram so far, what the hell?
Pause the episode.
Go do it.
Jeez,
Go do it right now.
We
Follow
have
back
11. We have over 1,000 followers on Facebook, which
And only two,
it's
just
not,
over.
It's not
200
crazy,
on
but I
Insta.
mean that's a lot. It's enough to be like
good
cool.
number. Sure.
And then our Instagram is and Jason's putting all this awesome content on our Instagram.
I would argue our Instagram.
You
is
know
better
what?
than
Just
Facebook.
make a TikTok. Just make a TikTok and get it over with. All right.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
I
So
would-
hey, if you're not
Getting-
following
I
our
would
Instagram,
just post pictures of my taint with the with the logo
Right where it needs to be.
where it needs to be.
No.
Over and over and over again.
actually, I'm begging
Don't
you.
give me that freedom.
I'm
'cause
begging
I
you,
will ruin
listeners,
it.
please go follow us on Instagram because when Jason makes an awesome post and not enough traction happens, he will send it to our group chat like, "Hey, did you guys see this post?"
Did you guys see it? Because nobody else did.
Did I post it right? I don't think it's
So
working.
it's been 3 weeks and only Joe Moore liked it.
I don't know how, but his account liked
Oh
it
my god,
twice.
that's every post.
Yeah.
It's been 3 weeks and only Joe Moore like that.
Guys, go like the Instagram.
Oh,
please.
And hit that like
That's
button.
good.
It's not that hard. I'm asking for you to move your thumb a little.
It's like when Michael goes to Pam's
Yes,
art exhibit.
the art show.
And then he says,
exactly.
how much?
How much? And it just means the
She's
world
like-
to her. Yeah.
What?
You guys
Joe
would do
Moore
it if you
is our
love me.
Michael.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Joe Moore is Michael.
Buy that painting.
We love
All
you,
right.
Joe Moore.
So here we go. I'm going to read the description. I'm going to hit start on the timer, and you guys have exactly 3 minutes, and I will cut you off. Don't test me. Episode 1 is The Tourney Journey. It delves into the creation of a tournament, what it takes, where to go, what to do. In each episode, we will have segments where we will catch up on what's happening in the Chicagoland disc golf scene. Go.
I nominate Ryan to take the lead.
Well, all I can think of is turkey jerky because that's what
Yeah.
I said when I thought of Tourney Journey.
Yeah.
And that is most of what I can remember about it, except for the fact that we still didn't know what we were doing, but
As
we're
a
trying
podcast,
to figure
we
it
had
out.
no idea.
And I will admit that I haven't listened to the first couple of episodes because they are not up to what I think our standards are now. So it's very tough for me to listen to. So that's really all I could take away from that.
I was just going to say that we definitely found our vibe since then, obviously. That was Tourney Journey. That was just us talking about our experiences of doing a tourney, but also doing it at the same time of the first time of us doing a podcast.
Yep.
Yeah.
Growing pains.
And also, we were talking about tournaments when, like, we were just starting all of those tournaments for the season.
It was March,
And-
right?
Yeah.
Or February?
It was freezing in here, probably.
It
No
probably
heat.
was. Yeah.
The
So
thing I loved about it was so I had a goal I put on my vision board this year to start a podcast. And after we did episode 0, I heard it. So we did it. It was fun. And then I heard the first version. Ryan sent it back to us like, okay, guys, what do you think? And I was like, I almost cried. I was like,
Yeah.
this sounds so effing cool. And then we came and did episode 1 with all the enthusiasm we had from episode 0.
Yeah.
And then when he sent episode 1 to me, I had an emotional like moment, like, oh my God, it's so much better than I thought it was going to be. Like the production, we hadn't found our rhythm yet, but I thought it's like much better than I expected.
well, you
it to be
could tell we automatically started to gel. You know, as far back as that first episode, like we knew that okay, this is a thing that we need to do.
How are we doing on time?
You're at 2 minutes, 15 seconds.
Oh, 45
and
seconds.
I will take a moment to chime in and
Please.
say what I enjoyed most about that first episode was I, as a non-disc golfer, listen, my little brother is starting a podcast. Of course, I'm going to listen, right?
Yep.
I was so excited for your enthusiasm to talk. That's what started the process of me weaseling my way into being here. Because it was. I'll be completely honest. I'll take this opportunity to say in these last 20 seconds that I texted Sean and was like, that was amazing. How do I get to be on it? And he was like, dude, you got to figure it out. And I figured it out.
He told you just figure it out.
He was like, figure it out. And I figured it out with the whole.
Every day he just shows up every time
with the trivia
record.
thing. And it was totally worth it. And that is 3 minutes.
Oh, he stole the last word. That's bullshit.
Nice.
For the record, and I'm going to say this going forward, that first episode went up February 25th of this year.
God.
February 25th.
Oh, that's our
1991.
dad's birthday.
That
That's
is.
crazy. That's our dad's
We're
birthday.
coming up on 1 year.
1991.
We're not that far away from
Right.
1 year old, guys.
Wow.
Yep. All right, here we go. We're going to move on to episode 2. Episode 2 is titled In the Club. This episode went up March 11th. And here's how we describe In the Club. What makes a disc golf club great? What makes us proud to be members of a disc golf club? What's it take to run a club? We chop it all up with America's sweetheart, Mr. Dan Schlitter. We also introduce the new mailbag segment where we address questions from the audience. Go.
First guest on the show, obviously.
Yes.
And how lucky did we get that
Dude, we couldn't have picked a better first guest.
Yeah.
It worked out because you had just done something for Dan, and you were like, "Oh, we could ask." We knew we wanted to get a pro, and somebody who was like involved in a club. So it just worked out that Schlitter was that guy. But then he ended up being so eloquent and like great insight, lots of fun. Like, could we have asked for a better guest?
Dude, yeah.
I remember thinking after Dan spoke during that episode, I thought to myself, I said, Sean? You're a lot dumber than Dan Schlitter.
Yeah. I said self.
I said, I remember thinking that. I was like so unbelievably impressed.
Yeah.
I know Dan Schlitter and he's a funny dude and he's like,
Dude,
like
he's a
whip,
goofball.
Yeah.
but like he is a smart mother.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He is put together. He is well-rounded, and I absolutely
He doesn't
love that he was
talk.
the first
He
guest.
thinks before he says everything.
Sure.
But you don't get that vibe. Like if everything comes out natural and cool, but it's calculated.
Everything he had to say was great, and it was all super good info. And I was stoked to be able to edit all of that, you know, with a guest, because I think that was the start of the moment for me when I'm thinking we need to have guests. This is what we need to do.
You felt like you were onto something. Yeah.
It's not just us talking about disc golf, because that's not going to cut it.
Right.
You know? So yeah.
I love that was right around the time that we were starting to come up with the idea of a team-based league or tournament.
Yeah.
That idea is still like somewhere on a back burner
It's in the
somewhere.
ether, yeah.
But like we got pumped up for that idea. I remember everybody putting their hands in the circle. I don't know if we actually were touching hands, but like from at least across the counter.
They
here.
probably were, because that was still pre-COVID. when we weren't thinking
But I
about
remember
I don't
all
think it
of
was
us
hands,
like, are we doing
whatever.
this?
Yeah.
Is this happening? And then we like put our hands in and then like lift them up like, let's fucking go. We're going to do this. We're going to do this idea.
Put our schlongs in and...
I wasn't here, but I
it
hope
wasn't
it was
hands.
fingertips.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
40 seconds.
I wish that you gave us more
Dan
details of the
Schlitter.
episode, because my brain doesn't remember.
We did
details.
the hot dog, is it a sandwich debate on that episode.
Yes, absolutely.
That probably kicked off the non-disc golf
Yes.
the
segments. Yeah.
The fuckery
Yeah.
came from, and that question came to us from Ishmael Ochoa. I remember
Yeah.
that. And Jason, did you ever weigh in? Is a hot dog a sandwich or not?
A hot dog is, with 10 seconds left, a sandwich.
Yes.
No.
Thank you.
It's a hot dog.
Thank you. We're so alike.
And that is 3 minutes. All right. Next episode is episode 3. It is titled Discourse Design. It aired March 22nd of this year. 26th is what I meant to say instead of 22nd. That's what 4 White Claws does to you. Sean spearheads this discussion into what it takes to design and install a disc golf course from concept to execution. Go.
My first thing that comes to mind is not actually about the topic. It's about the name. It reminds me that when this show started, it was called Unstable Conversation. On episode 0, if you listen to it, we called it Unstable Conversation.
Yeah.
And then Brian, I think, is the one.
Yeah, I did some thesaurusing and saw the word discourse, and I was like, oh, that's great. And I was like, unstable discourse. That sounds awesome. And it was minutes later that I was like, it has the word course in it. And it says disc course. Wait a minute.
Disc course.
Wait.
My God.
We had already published episode
Such
0.
an idiot. Yeah.
Yeah, you sent that to me, and I was like, what have we done?
Yeah.
Is there a way we can change it?
Delete that first episode.
And then I remember saying, whatever, we'll figure it out later. It's Unstable Discourse now. That's like, that has to be the thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, about that episode, I have nothing. I'm also 4 or 5 White Claws deep, so somebody else needs to go.
I think this episode is probably where we struggled a little bit because we came off the high of having Dan and having a guest and having a lot of good content.
Isn't this where Jason joined us?
Si, senor.
Yes.
Yep.
I was gonna say
it was
I
episode
knew
3
it
where I
was-
jump in at the end and say 1,500 times because I was nervous about it.
Right, you did, and I edited a lot of them out.
A ton of them out, but most of them still
They were still there. So we struggled with content a little bit, but Jason saved us by just being here and adding, that the fourth element.
I remember thinking personally around this time that I didn't want to just sit around and talk about ourselves. That this was kind of like the light bulb moment for me around this episode where it was like, I think I started pushing more of like, there's this guy and there's this guy and there's these people and all these events that we do and these other people and their stories that we need to hear. And I think with that coupled with Jason coming in and making everything like in Discovery Zone, we took off into what has now become a show that a lot of people look forward to. So
I remember the way you put it too when you were like, the idea, like you were like, dude, can you not make me just talk about myself and what I've done, because that's gross.
That's
the way you put it.
We recorded 45
Gross.
minutes of an episode that we cut and completely started over. Do you remember?
Yes.
Like,
because I started and I
were
was just like,
I can't talk about myself. This
well,
sucks. I hate
it's
it.
funny because I was just thinking about this the other day. I
forgot
was
about that
struggling
completely.
because I have to do it so often. I have to tell my story to people that come in and they're like, oh my God, like
15 seconds.
It's my life.
It's my life. It's now or never.
So it's hard to like have that enthusiasm for the 1,000th time telling the story.
3 minutes. All right. Moving on to episode 4.
That was a rough one, but it ended well. Yeah, I remember that.
I wish we would have talked a little bit more about what it was like when you first joined, because the only thing that you did in that first episode, I think, was, well, this is supposed to be a sponsor thing for Bag of Tricks, which is a trivia company. So maybe Jason can add.
It was full on a test.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see how
and
that segment
I didn't really
goes.
like him at all. So, I mean,
It's true.
He's been knocking the wind out of me since 1987. How the fuck do you think I feel?
I'll
Nobody actually wanted me here.
I'm different to Ryan. I was like, hey, if Jason wants to come on and do a little something every episode, even if you did nothing, I was like, I can hang out with him.
Thank you. Yeah. I appreciate those words. All right. Episode 4. We are now into April. April 8th is when this episode went up, and it is called Mind Yo Biz. And guess what, guys? We are into COVID.
Yep.
Coping with COVID Disc Golf Edition. We spout some info about the latest issues with the shutdown of the area's disc golf scene. Go.
I remember being very irritated around these times. Just so
frustrated.
like, couldn't believe this was actually I still feel this way. Couldn't believe it was the reality of like what I was like looking around me going, what
This can't be real
the
life.
fuck is going on right now?
Yeah. Truman Show.
Yeah, it felt like an odd nightmare.
And on top, I mean, at the base layer of all that is your livelihood, and everybody's livelihood is like, what are we all gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, one, can we pay our bills? Yeah. Can we keep doing the playing the sport that we love to, like the one thing we all really love to do?
Yeah.
Right.
Everything was in question. Amidst all that, we had people yelling at each other about what they should and shouldn't be doing.
Oh, that was a nightmare.
Oh God, within the community.
Yeah.
That was a nightmare.
Oh Lord, have
And
mercy.
that's why we called him. I remember that when Sean, that was maybe the first episode where beef got introduced.
I think it was.
If not the first, it was like early on, because I remember you just saying like, mind your biz.
Your own fucking business, bro. That was only like 6 days into me coming back to the shop after the first 10 days of COVID.
Right.
So that was the Friday after that first week of coming in here and going,
Did we?
what do I do?
We must have
What does this
discussed
mean now?
before we came here.
Yeah.
There must have been conversations about like, are we going to get together in person, or what's going to happen with the show? Are we going to try and do it remotely? Or I think what happened was we all decided we'd sit, with enough space between us.
Right. Yeah.
We said we'd wear masks.
We still do. We're all
Yeah,
6
the whole
feet
time.
apart
I
from
mean,
each
we
other.
really are.
Yeah, I guess.
I cough
we
on
are.
everything before Alex shows up. But other than that, we
When
stay
it's
6
just
feet apart.
us four,
I'm still
we're 6
wearing
feet
nothing
apart.
but a mask. So yeah, right.
Yeah.
Was that the time that you showed up in the full white suit?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I showed up in the hazmat
hazmat
suit,
suit,
with a face mask on. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else happened? Pull up the Instagram. What else happened on that episode?
Sure. Okay, I'm gonna pause the timer.
Well,
We got 40. I need to go to the Instagram.
We can't talk about it until the timer starts. again.
recreating the rules. All right.
We're recreating the rules.
What could
Who's
we?
they? Whose rules? Whose rules?
Here we go. I'm gonna hit this timer
Oh, I can't
because
wait.
there was tons of Tiger King talk on that
Oh,
episode.
Tiger
I've been
King.
considering going
You
back to
bitch.
rewatch Tiger King. Is it? You think it'll be fun to watch the second
no,
time?
I don't think
Absolutely
it holds
not.
up.
I think Carol Baskin's still a bitch, but that's,
You bitch?
that's about it. Whether she's on Dancing with the Stars or not, because that's all that's changed since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yep. Tons of Tiger King talk, tons of Mind Your Biz talk. I remember the room being a little divided on, we were so early into COVID that we weren't really sure what it was. And I think the room
Yeah.
was a little divided on what it was.
Yeah, we were.
And I think that was fun, and it kind of
Well, it was also
transferred
that was
through.
also indicative of how the whole community was.
time.
Oh,
Yeah, all right.
That was
good. I'd rather not chop that.
I
up
let
again.
you sneak that in. All right, here we go. Let's go back,
Ooh.
which is
6.
episode 5.
Oh,
It aired April 22nd.
Yep.
It is called
1992.
1992. It is called NKOTB. So that was a good reference there.
No.
No.
Corey.
We dive into a rookie's view of running a tournament for the first time with guest Corey Simonich and his event, The Funk Go.
I took third. Suck it.
I shot. You did. I shot hot round. Suck it.
Yeah, I'm not. That was an embarrassing
Yeah.
event for me. So the thing I remember about the actual recording of the episode was, I mean, there's a couple things, but the intro where it was like we were talking about Frodo. What's up with this motherfucker Frodo?
Oh god, that could be
beef.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's okay.
yes,
That's all.
yes,
That's
Lord of
good
the
stuff.
Rings.
I don't have a lot to say about the event about the episode off the top of my head, but the event itself was awesome to be playing in the
primo.
event and to show up for the registration and see everything like from the moment I pulled into the parking lot, I was like, he's doing it.
Yeah.
He talked
yeah.
about it. His heart was in the right place.
Yep.
I got there, I saw the tents, all the merch laid out, all the people he
Corey's
had
a
helping
doer.
him. He took all the advice
Yeah.
that we gave, and he did all the things he said he was going to do.
He had to postpone it. He had to deal with all that, and he worked right
In
through
the
it.
first
and killed
couple of minutes of being there, I was like, this is better than the stuff that we do. The
Oh.
vibe, seriously, because
it. The vibe was
a
absolutely.
big part of what kicks it up a notch at the events is when we play music.
Oh,
yes, absolutely.
And he had music playing the moment that first person
And it was
rolled
good.
up, and it was good
it was
music.
funky.
Yes.
as it should be.
Yes.
And it was great. Yeah.
Before the first
killed
round
it.
was over, I remember saying, this event will come back next year
Oh, it's
and
gotta.
it'll sell out.
Yeah.
Yep.
He already told us it's going to be called the Funk 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yes. Perfect name.
So, but that episode was great because we had, an amateur guest on that wasn't just a pro disc golfer. Like he was just a dude that's also in the sport that's doing things. And that was cool for us to see because that kind of changed our perspective on the guests that we should bring in.
Yes.
Instead of just having Dan Schiller was awesome. Hey guys, do you think we could get Nico in next time?
Yeah.
We're not just going to have disc golf pros in. We're going to have people that do cool shit.
Yeah, part of the reason we wanted
you know.
Dan was like he was a pro, but also we wanted to talk about clubs, so he made good sense.
Yeah.
But you're right, things kind of changed after we did. Like Corey was a point where we decided let's just start focusing heavily on it doesn't have to be a pro, it just has to be somebody local who's doing
People
cool
that are
things.
doing shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also love that he talked about the pillows on that episode, and then when I saw the
Dude, he
pillow
delivered.
when I saw them at the
yeah.
tournament, I was like, he did it.
I
I
wanted
was
one
a
of those.
CTP win
Bad.
away from getting one.
You were too.
I lost
You were
to
tied for third and lost the
Doug
playoff.
Voth.
Yeah.
Love you, Doug.
Oh yeah, love you, Doug. The mini games were such a cool element.
Yeah,
That
that
was
was
fun.
cool.
Yep.
That was
Break
an
up your
unexpected
round.
fun thing.
And it wasn't like hey, stick around after the round for mini games. It was like
Time.
stop. Oh,
All right.
Wow.
Next episode, speaking of bringing on somebody that's doing great things in the scene, episode 6,
Butt Sex
which
Club.
went up May 6th, really changed things as far as the editing was concerned,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
That is, hey, ladies. The guys welcome in special guest and Birdie Babe founding member Amy Laskowski for a look into the state of women's disc golf in the area, what it looks like currently, and what it takes to what needs to happen to ensure a flourishing future go.
That she almost didn't come a few times because of the COVID issues, and she was very nervous about it.
She was teased for 2 episodes before.
Understandably,
she was supposed to be earlier.
Understandably nervous. Totally get it. But she
She's
finally
a mom.
decided.
She's got kids.
Yep. She finally decided, okay, these guys are like taking precautions and maybe we can do it. And it turned out great. And I would not have changed a thing. This also, not that you guys need to know, but we can see analytics as far as like how our episodes are doing and listener views and, you know, the trends that are happening. And this episode skyrocketed our listenership. And this is the moment for me when I saw like, wait a minute, people are actually listening to
people, not just in
this isn't just
town.
for us.
It's like we were starting to see people around the country.
Yeah.
People in other countries.
Yeah.
Sure.
We posted it on Friday, and that Saturday morning there had been over 100 listens overnight, and I was like, wait a minute. Like, this is a thing.
I don't know if I've told you guys this before, but that is my favorite episode. Whenever somebody goes, like, I try not to say, oh, my podcast, because so many people have podcasts and most of them suck. So I hate to be in that box in people's minds mentally. So when it comes out that I have a podcast and then somebody's like, oh, I'd like to hear it, always the first one I send them is episode 6.
Cool.
Yeah. That is when we hit our stride. You'd been here now for a couple episodes. We realized what you brought to the show at that point. You were playing a bigger role. You threw the Beastie Boys drop early on in the episode, and I felt like there was so much energy right out of the gate there.
That's when we dialed in like true editing, like doing drops within it.
Yeah.
And it was, we
Amy
really
was
became
such
what we
a
wanted
good
to be
guest.
done.
When
She
she
was
dialed in?
fantastic.
I was nervous about that.
When Ryan dialed in.
You said
who
we.
were going to be. Sorry, I didn't mean to
I
say.
meant to look over.
Well, I mean, like there was a couple of suggestions.
You got a mouse in your pocket or what?
I was part of it, but he did the editing.
She was nervous. I had doubts about her opening up enough, you know, in the podcast. And when we were actually recording the podcast, I was a little worried about the pace.
Yeah.
Because as you're sitting here doing it, you're constantly worried about what you're saying in the content and is it going to be good?
Yeah.
Like now, this is all garbage. We're going to lose it all. But but when she was sitting there and doing it, you know, I was a little worried. But when I went back and edited it, every time I listened to a part, I was like, this is gold.
Yeah.
Wait, this is even better.
Yeah, she killed it.
Holy crap, there's 2 hours of gold here. This is awesome. Yeah, that's
At the end of it too, we sat outside and she was super nervous and she was like, was it good? And we were like, yeah, it was great.
Was it good?
Yeah,
it was great.
Yeah.
How much time do we have?
So, 5 seconds.
It's solidified having local guests on.
Boom.
Boom.
Oh.
So as the moderator, I want to take this moment to say that my favorite thing about this episode made it to air and you can't hear it. And it has always irritated me because when Amy talks about being in water polo, Sean says was the deep end. And I say, of course it's the deep end. How else would the horses fit in the water? And you can't hear it.
Yeah.
And it's fucking comedy gold.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's always burned me.
Well, I hear
you can't
it.
hear
I
it.
always hear it.
I listen to every millisecond as I'm editing, and I don't know that I've actually realized that you said that.
It's brilliant. And it has always irritated me that.
Well, now you've had a little bit
But
more
I've
light.
had my moment.
Yes.
And this is where I sign off. I have been Jason with Bag of Tricks. and I
You've
will never be
said
back.
this is where I leave the show like 10 times.
Yeah. And
It's a running bit.
He's
All right, here we
constantly
go.
threatened, but
Here we
never
go.
lived
Okay.
up. Yeah.
Thank
We're
God.
going to talk about the next episode. It is episode 7. It is called Disc Golf Rules with a Z. It went up May 20th. The guys exchanged disc golf rules, situations, and some of the lesser known rule concepts that every player should know. Go.
I think this is an important episode. I think the content is important. This is my least favorite episode.
Same.
This is no guest.
Just
No
us.
guest.
Just us chilling.
Just us.
It was
riffing on
us
rules.
talking about boring disc golf rules.
And I liked the concept that we come up with, explaining them to Jason from an outsider's point of view, trying to see what he thinks of weird disc golf rules. Because if you don't play disc golf, all these rules are like foreign to you. Trying to explain them to him, it seems like a good idea, but it just came off to me as, I don't want to say garbage. It just wasn't.
I think the
content
stats
I want.
reflect
Filler?
it too. I think the stats,
Filler
like,
episode?
I think we dipped a little bit for episode 7.
Sure. And I don't know why that is, because like you'd have to listen to it to understand that it's not.
Yeah,
you know.
but also there's, I'm sure we're
They
not
just
the-
assume with the name, they're like,
some people
Garbo,
will
not gonna
listen
click on it.
to episodes more than once, I would guess. I mean, like, unless it's just us and we have huge egos. But
I would assume that if they don't like the episode, the next one would suffer.
I would say
But that's not the case.
My 2 cents of this conversation is like, I think maybe sometimes we put too much weight on the meat and potatoes of the episode, thinking that that's what's going to change listeners.
You mean the bagels and lox of the episode?
Correct. The Tom and Jerry's?
Yeah, the peanut butter and jelly.
So I think my favorite parts of any episode, and I'm sure this episode, because I love them all, is when we horse around and we do local route. And we just yak it up. Like, that's my favorite part of all the episodes. The meat and potatoes is cool. It's a highlight for sure. But I don't think that they all need to be great. I think some of them can just be us going, hey, you're confused on this shit, and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it's our responsibility.
Agreed.
And that's what I remember about that portion, was thinking like, I think people are going to hear this and something's going to, a switch is going to flip.
I bet there's a lot of newer players who took away a lot from that episode.
Oh,
so
agree.
I'm with you.
Right.
The content was valuable.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you like any highlight. Nothing sticks out to me about that episode. The one thing I do remember about it was the promo video you did where you're wearing those goofy glasses and you look at the camera and you're
awesome.
Yeah, I love that.
We were sitting right here where I am sitting right now.
Yeah, that was super
Oh,
fun.
that's right. That was good.
Do you have? Is there anything from the Instagram that?
Yeah,
you
I
can pull?
checked. There's
nothing.
Yeah, it was just kind of.
And that was exactly
It's
halfway through the
episode.
season.
Yeah. It was piggybacked off of where we were like, dude, we got this. So it was like we were riding that high of we knew who we were.
And I think
we knew
had,
what we wanted.
We had decided, hey, let's go guests every other episode.
Yeah. We were trying to figure out a format.
But obviously that's not the formula for success.
I'm the same as you guys. Don't get me wrong. If you listen to it, it's still, we did good work. And we had a good time doing it.
Yeah.
But I think it lacked. I love that you're cutting me off. Actually, I hate it and I love it.
All right, here we go. Episode 7.5 is up next. And because it is half an episode, you guys are going to get half the time to talk about it. That's a minute and a half for those keeping track at home. It went up June 2nd of this year. Episode 7.5 is the
That
ultimate.
is our other father's birthday.
It is.
What the f?
That is bizarre. The ultimate disc golf destination. Ryan and Alex connected with Matt's Adamzak, the man responsible for the most ambitious and groundbreaking project in the history of disc golf ago.
Okay. I remember thinking how we didn't do any like video interviews with anybody. And like, I thought we should start doing that. And I know the listeners don't know, but I know everybody else on this show, Ryan, Sean, Jason, hate being on the video calls.
Can't stand
for
it.
any reason.
I'm a boomer.
Hate it.
Straight up.
I love them. I do it all day, so I'm good with it. But I remember being nervous about kind of pushing everybody to say, I think we should do this.
Yeah.
And then once we you and I did it, Ryan, once we finally did it, I felt really good about what came out of it.
We had no idea what to expect.
Correct.
It could have been total garbage.
If Matt's didn't have all the personality that he had, it probably would have sucked.
Absolutely. But he did.
When
killed
Matt
it.
said disc golf is the shit,
Yeah.
I was like, this is going to be great.
Yeah, this is good. It was so good. I want to do more stuff like that next season, more little stuff in between. It doesn't have to be an episode, but we got to connect with more people about more stuff like that because people need to know. The information was great, the content was great, and it was way above my expectations. So,
now Matt's actually is friends with me on Facebook, so we're beyond the we're pals now. And he is just as awesome and friendly and like as well-rounded of a person as what comes through in that interview. The way he is, just like when he's being himself, he's awesome.
You cheated, but yes, you're correct.
All right, I will say this about episode 7.5. Matt's is the only one on record who ever made a make it on air.
No.
Yeah.
No. You have told us before that Ryan has missed a outside of that episode.
I don't think I've gone back. I've gone
also,
back.
I'm going to cheat. I'm going to say my little piece on episode 7.5. I had nothing to do with it. I remember being happy that I couldn't make the video call because I'm a boomer. And being nervous about it. And then when I saw it, I was like, that was cool as shit.
Yeah.
I wish I would have.
Now
I was like,
I remember in the back of my mind when that whole thing was going on, like, I hope Sean sees this and thinks it was cool in some way.
it was cool.
And then when you messaged me at some point afterwards, you're like, hey, man, that came out really cool.
Yeah.
I had a little party in my head like, yes, he liked it. Cool.
And it's still up and available to view on YouTube, correct?
Yeah, it's on our YouTube.
Yeah. Okay.
And I also remember thinking that Matt's maybe wasn't anywhere near like involved in disc golf as much as maybe we thought he was going into.
There was definitely that potential.
That I was like, oh, he's not done this very long, but this dude's awesome. so it doesn't matter.
And he was very passionate and driven and cared and invested.
Yeah.
And he still is. The way he posts about it today, you can tell he's still pushing this further. Like they're taking those 9-hole courses and turning them into 18s. Like he's really driving for it. And like the economic benefit to, the area that like that's his whole mission is to bring people to that island. It's working. Yeah. When you see things like that working, you start pouring more into it. Like just like Delwood, where it's at now, it's not done. It's going to keep evolving.
Right.
Who knows where this is going to
and time. Okay, that was 3
All right, we're officially at the halfway point of the season. Do you guys have anything you want, like a quick sentence you want to say about the first half of the season?
I will say that I didn't realize how much I missed doing this over the last 2 months.
You mean 8 years?
Same.
Yeah.
Well, I did realize it, but also I like squashed it because it was I didn't want to miss it as
Or
much
did
as
you
I
squash it or did you?
I
I think
quashed
you
it.
quashed it.
Yeah.
You
But
did.
I guess halfway through the season, it had become very clear to me that this was my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
Whatever else, my other
brushing your teeth.
whatever my other
With the wrong hand.
quote unquote brushing your teeth, any other hobbies or interests that I had, nothing gave me the buzz that I was getting from doing this. And I looked forward, as soon as we finished an episode, I would get in my car, or we'd bullshit for a little while afterwards, get in my car, drive home, and I'd just be thinking about how much fun I just had.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah.
I'm sure it happened before halfway. It probably happened earlier, but that's the only thing I really feel the need to share about the first half of the season.
Yeah.
Sure. I was 4 episodes into being part of this with you guys, and I was like, this was a drug for me. Like I
probably remember thinking around the middle portion, like, oh, now he's just gonna Jason this shit up.
Yeah. Like even if you guys said like I think we're gonna get rid of your portion, I would still show up.
Yeah.
I would be here and just scream shit through the window so everyone could hear me. All right, here we go. Let's get to the back half now.
Yeah.
We are at episode 8. Episode 8 went up June 2nd.
The
Same day as 7.5. I was like, why did I just say that?
Yeah.
They went up on the same day.
Oh,
that is
yeah,
the
they did.
bearded one. You are correct, Ryan. Professional disc golfer, course designer, and all-around man of mystery, Dan.
Dan?
How about we say
Vici?
Dana Vici?
No, you thought his name was Dan Avicii.
Dan. Okay, I did.
Dan
I did. I thought his
Avicii.
name was Dan Avicii. Yes, until he was here, and I was like, oh, it's Dana Vici. Got it.
Yeah.
Man of mystery, Dana Vici joins us for a look into the life of the pro balancing a disc golf career, work with Discmania, and family. We also get to the bottom of what's really in that beard. Go.
I started to peek into the mind of Dana and the dry sense of humor that he has, because I only see him and talk to him for minutes at a time, at tournaments and events and things like that. And
Where you almost never expect him to be. He just pops up. And
I will walk away both thinking that it was amazing and doubting that he actually likes any part of me.
Yep.
Like, I don't know how to read any of it.
I just saw Dana a couple of hours ago.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
You're like, does he?
He
like
leaves,
me?
and I'm just like, I don't know does that dude like me or not? I don't really know. Yeah.
And
if he thinks I'm cool, but
that's-
I'm really worried about it.
Yeah, that's always how he is. But he sat down in that chair. Once he started to open up a little bit and started talking, I was like, this is Dana's awesome.
Yeah.
The intro is about how much he loves to talk about himself.
Yeah,
so
he's
you
amazing.
put a mic in front of him and he opens up.
It was so fun to see how that evolved, that whole episode. And I'm really disappointed because that is one of our least listened to.
Yeah.
It is.
And I don't know why. And maybe
I think it's because the bearded one is such a vague title that, like, if you don't know what that's a reference to, you're just like, who, what?
well, maybe, but still, like, I don't know. I don't get it.
Maybe episode 7 drug him down when we were talking about disc golf rules. They were like, I'm going to tap out.
That's what you were.
See,
yeah,
maybe
that was
it's
your
the
theory.
episode
Could be.
before you don't
Yeah.
continue. I don't know what that is, but it needs more listens. Than,
Such a good episode.
Yeah, it's great.
The funniest moment of the show happened on that episode. The funniest moment in the show's history, that when the circus
crowd,
thing.
yeah.
I'm
when
so proud of myself for how quickly I said that.
That was
It seems staged
level
how
of
fast
wit
you came up with
that
that.
is unmatched.
It will never
That was
happen to
good
me
stuff.
again.
Just for listeners, if you haven't heard it, we used it for a promo, but basically, I was asking Dana what crowd he was a part of in high school. Like, who was he with, the goth jocks or who was he with? And he said, I kind of walked the tightrope, and without skipping a single second, Ryan goes, "Oh, so you were with the circus kids?" And
It was fantastic.
all of us had to had a laughter break because it took a while to recover from
And that continued on, and like the graphic that we put up for that episode with him in the trapeze is like, it's one of the greatest moments of that will ever be part of the podcast.
I think so.
Yeah. So we need to have him back on because that was.
We need to know more. We barely even scratched the surface
Yeah.
of like who
we
Dan
got to the end and we were like, but wait,
Dan
we didn't
Avicii is.
Yeah, Dan of Vici. Yes,
We
wherever
did
Vici
get
is,
good
I
insight
don't know
into
who
his
Vici is.
job, though. And I think for anybody who has that dream of like, how do I get a job in disc golf that pays the bills? I think that we covered the reality of what that job looks like.
Yeah.
And there's not a ton of them.
Oh, I love that it's always Alex that gets cut
Yeah,
off.
every time.
I talk the most.
I'll cut you off all night.
This just proves I have the biggest mouth.
Oh, it's so
Right.
good.
We're going to move on to episode 9. This is a great episode. It went up June 17th, the day after my birthday.
Whatever.
It is episode 9, Hot Single Amateurs in Your Area.
Best
The guys
title.
get the latest take on the amateur perspective. Special guest BJ Yokobaskis and
nice.
Jared Gardner
Yep.
walk us through their battle for top MA3 spot in the latest local tournament, as well as what it takes to grow and compete as a disc golfer in one of the most competitive areas in the country.
I was very skeptical about
Yes.
having them on.
Same.
Glad that you are both saying that
Same.
because I remember having to sell this idea to you guys.
You did.
Via our
I
group
love
chat.
both of those dudes.
Yeah.
Like they are very close to my heart. But having them on a podcast that we like, this is our baby at this point.
Sure.
9 episodes in, like we can't ruin it by having guests on that aren't vetted,
Right.
in some way. So when they sat down and started talking,
I had never met VJ or Jared at this point, so I was
Right.
like, hopefully they're cool
Yeah.
guys.
oh man, and they killed it. It was so good. And can I just say that was the best title?
Best
to date.
title. Definitely.
Hot single amateurs in your area. To that.
Okay, Jason.
To that
We're getting
point.
there, but
To that
up until
point.
that point, 100%.
But yeah, it worked out great. I mean, if you were to try, and Sean did this, if he were to, he tried to sell me on the whole concept, and I was like, I was there. Okay, sure.
Sure,
Like,
right.
Not a big deal to me, but it ended up being great. And those guys were super good on the mic and everything.
I'll give a little glimpse behind the curtain. Hope you guys don't mind, but I was not on board with this concept. I was like 15% on board, and I was also telling myself, as a part of a group, you don't have to be. It's like your opinion is not the most important thing every single time. So just trust the group that something awesome might come out of this.
Yeah.
And I remember showing up here that day, like, we'll see if this is any good. And then it was. And I was like, I'm such an asshole.
It wasn't good. It was great.
It was
Yeah, it
awesome.
was really good.
And Jared and VJ were so cool, and they were
fantastic.
just entertaining. Like VJ,
They were
was so
bantering
damn-
with us
their
really
banter.
well and each
Yeah.
other, and it
And
was
I
epic. It
handed
was cool.
you a wild cherry Pepsi
Yes,
not 24 hours ago.
that's true.
And
Yes.
we were like, well, isn't it all wild?
Isn't
You
it
know?
all?
there
I
any
still
not
quote
wild?
that episode when he
Yeah.
handed me the cherry Pepsi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Are
so
they all wild?
yeah, they
Yeah.
were great.
That was
Yeah.
our first time with 2 guests as well, wasn't it?
Yes.
Correct.
So that was challenging to have 6 total tracks to edit and 6 mics. I had to actually bring some mics from home that I had to break out the good stuff in the closet to be able to do that, and it worked out great.
That was a special moment for me, realizing like you don't have to control every decision. You don't have to like you can just trust the group, and it'll work out. And if it doesn't, whatever, you handle it as a group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It was rough before we actually started recording, but it worked out fine.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I liked that one.
And
Yes.
And as the moderator, I get to talk in between episodes.
Go ahead.
yeah.
That's where we had our discussion about aliens and everything. Where we,
Oh,
yeah.
so
Why
good.
didn't we talk about
Which
that?
is
That's so great.
It was one of my. I've thought about that for years. For
He wants
20
to-
years, I've had.
He
that
wants
theory.
to start a podcast based on that.
Yeah.
small
It's called Aliens Watching Movies, where we just discuss how aliens existed
and watch Pixar films.
before, and then we watch a Pixar film and we find a way to bridge the gap.
Okay.
Time isn't
it makes,
real.
It makes no sense, and
Yeah.
time is not real.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the next episode. We're talking episode 10. We finally hit double digits. We had a moment of freak out in the beginning. Sean couldn't believe what we had made 10 episodes by that point. I remember.
Yes.
That's how it started. You're like, 10 episodes. You were just freaking out about it. Went up July 2nd, episode 10, Golden Media Showers. Great title. The guys discuss disc golf media, the good, the bad, and the mediocre. On the heels of the announcement that Joe Mez will be partnering with CBS Sports to deliver the dynamic Discs Open coverage in August, the guys also delve into the relevance of live disc golf coverage and what they think it will take for it to be a popular and viable option going forward. Discuss.
That is now all available to watch on YouTube now.
It
As
is,
of like
finally.
within the last week or so.
Right.
Which is pretty cool.
That seemed like such a big deal, and I don't think it's continued to hold up to the hype.
No, because we've changed as a people the way that we enjoy things entertainment-wise on our television sets. We don't watch them live.
Right.
No one does. I've been watching The Office for like 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back
so
when we started the podcast. Yeah.
my
years
number
ago.
one takeaway from the show, from that episode, was that I loved the name of the episode. But so our plan with that episode changed organically while we were doing it, and we kind of came into it to appreciate all the things that are happening in disc golf media. And I think somewhere along the lines, it ended up being what needs to really change. And we focused on that a lot.
Yeah.
And then since we'd already called it disc golf media showers, this wasn't a planned thing, but the way I interpreted it in my mind afterwards was we were kind of like ripping a little bit on like things that need to change and like ripping on some like really influential and important people in the scene. And then I was like, and we called it disc golf media shower. So
we call it Golden Media Showers.
Oh yeah, Golden Media Shower. So hopefully nobody thinks this episode was about us pissing on the heads of like really important people in the scene.
Right.
And then not long after that, we were at Ledgestone and I saw Terry Miller, who we had, opinions about on that episode. And I was just thinking, I hope to God Terry didn't listen to that episode or think that we were like ripping on him in any way.
No, I guarantee he doesn't listen
I'm
to
sure that he
anything but
didn't,
himself.
but I couldn't not think that he knows. And like also it's not what we intended, but I had this little like anxiety that like maybe that's how this will be perceived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, it's not what we intended.
Well, we made a giant mistake too.
Not having Leo Borowski
Leo Borowski on.
Which is what I was thinking about the entire time we did that
But
episode.
I'm glad we did it the way we did it.
Yeah.
Hindsight
Because
is
it was
2020.
like a two-parter, obviously.
Yeah. I think it was a great episode. I don't think we pissed on anybody. I think we talked about some highlights. I think we talked about what needs to happen, and that's very realistic. That is not that's not ragging on anybody. That's just telling it like it is, man. And that's the way it should be.
Well, the shower became very realistic that night because if you remember, that's the night of the lightning strike that happened just 40 feet away from us.
Yeah.
Terry Miller was throwing lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt,
lightning bolt,
lightning bolt.
Yeah, that episode, we had the doors open.
We all pooped our pants.
And a lightning strike happened right outside the shop. It was the craziest thing that ever happened. The show cut out. Like all the electronics just stopped.
Yep.
And
It was
like
hot as shit in here.
it was crazy.
Time.
Ooh.
Woody Harrelson.
But as the
Woody
moderator, you're going to continue to talk
No, I
about
don't
the
have
lightning
anything to
strike.
say. Here we go.
Harrelson. You know what? We've missed an important point. I'm sorry. I know you're the moderator, but when did we start having you do the intros? That is an important point in the development of the show.
So I was thinking about that episode. Let me go back to that episode.
Was
'cause
it
I was
the
thinking about it.
Pink Floyd one?
So the bearded one was the circus, right?
Yes.
That's what. So that was where I think it's 7. I think it's disc golf rules. Nope, because mind your biz. So I'm trying to think back. So I'll do a peek behind the curtain. The way
It was
that
like a monster. No, it was the Bulls one. It was where you.
it was. There's a monster truck one that it was your idea to do, just
Yes.
like
And
just
he's-
a hyped up version of an intro.
And as soon as he started it, I lost it because I didn't expect his voice to.
now.
Yeah, I didn't expect his voice to be like that.
So the way we record the intro is it's recorded after the podcast.
Yeah.
Right.
So what I do is I will organically search for a conversation piece that just kind of happened within the episode, and then I'll take that and run with it and create something that we record after, but just stick at the beginning. Right.
And most of the time,
Sean and I leave the shop, and then Jason and Ryan just do the intro.
Right.
And Sean and I have no idea what they're doing, and we don't hear
we
it.
can barely hear them.
Yeah, we don't know what they did until Ryan sends us the polished episode, a week later.
Yeah.
So it was Mind Your Biz was the first time, because I did we were so upset about or I was really upset about the COVID commercials that are in these, in these uncertain times. That I recorded an intro for that. Then I think it was NKOTB was just an radio. Excited one. It was just you're listening to Unstable Discourse. It was it wasn't much going on there. And then Hey Ladies was the Bulls one?
I don't remember.
No, Hey Ladies was the in these uncertain times, I thought.
Yeah, you're right.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's starting to come back to me.
Yes.
I have no idea.
The White Claw haze is lifting a little bit. I don't remember.
That was the first one, which is another reason why I like to share episode 6 with people, because I feel like there was so much energy injected into the beginning of that episode that most people are not going to listen to the full thing. It's almost, it's an hour and a half to 2 hour episode.
I remember showing or having my wife listen to one of the first full intros with the cold open, and then the clip from whatever pro or guest, and then your intro, and then the welcome in, and all of this. And she was like, there is so much going on at the beginning. And I was like,
I know. That's the best part.
That's great.
She was like, I don't know if there needs to be that much. And I was like, there needs to be more.
Has Teresa listened to all of our...
full strap in?
She's listened to a couple, at least.
To be fair, we could trim some of it probably, but when I listen to other podcasts that don't kind of start off with a bang, and you're trying to pull somebody new into it, I think that's a misstep.
There's so many good, funny elements to the first 3 minutes of our podcast that I can't put it all in there.
Right. I will say the Bulls intro, it came up during the conversation, but it didn't make the final cut of the episode. We were talking about
the Last Dance.
The Last Dance.
Yeah.
And that little conversation piece about the Last Dance didn't make the final cut, but I still did the Bulls intro.
Sure.
So it's it seems a little irrelevant.
Your starting lineup.
Yeah, there's another peek behind the curtain there is why I did the Bulls intro.
Oh, there you go.
All right. So we are going to move on to July 16th. Episode 11 is linked.
We will also share the blooper of the first time you tried to do the Bulls intro.
Will share that.
And Ryan broke laughing immediately.
I couldn't take it.
That's good stuff. All right. LinkedIn special guest Mike Zvanovic.
Yeah.
Mumchilo
Zvanovic of Link Disc Golf chats with the guys about his new disc golf company that centers itself around friends, family, wellness, and health. Alex is disgusted by the group's best fries consensus. And we are all surprised by Jason's choice in television shows when he was in college. Go.
First thing, I didn't realize that Burger King had changed its fries since I had it 10 years ago.
No, I don't want to hear it.
Listen,
wow. Liz, how did he just get so far away from the mic? Oh, because he's backpedaling.
Liz and I were at Burger King a couple of weeks ago, which never happens. And I was like, let me try one of those fries. And I tried it and I was like, I'm wrong. I fucked up. Yeah. They're good. Burger King fries are good.
They're
very good.
That's all I have to say next.
Yeah.
Mike was just a great guest. Tons of good questions, insight, easy to get along with. We talked about this earlier. And
I think, was he almost a last minute thing? Because
there was
there were some guests that we couldn't get.
Was that when
it couldn't have worked out any better. He was a great guest. He had a lot of great info. What he's doing with Link Disc Golf is amazing and it needs to be heard. And I'm glad that he was on for sure.
Yeah. When did this episode air?
That is going back to July 16th.
In 2004. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You know what? I'll say the thing that I gravitated to about Mike. I mean, there's a lot of different things, but I felt right away he was a guy that my dad would have hung out with and really liked.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah.
And I like my dad's judge of character and people, and I was like, this dude seems like he should be friends with my dad, and I like that. I don't know why. I was just
totally, dude.
Yeah, dude.
He's just
good people. He's old school.
He's
got
very
old school
cute.
Chicago.
Yeah. When you meet Mike's father, you realize why you like Mike.
Yeah,
that makes perfect sense.
Sure.
Because Sammy is the reason why Mike is the way he is, and he's perfect.
Yeah,
and that's a totally amazing description. You would be friends with my dad. How about it?
Oh, if
Mikey Z would be.
When you bring a friend home to meet your folks, and your folks like that person, that's always cool. I'm glad my folks. I feel
talks with his
if I brought
fucking hands, man,
right.
he's fucking.
If Mike ever met my dad,
work and,
my dad would be like, "I don't need you anymore. Mike's my new son. I don't need you."
So what was the television show that you? Oh, Blue's Clues.
Blue's Clues. Yeah.
Blue's Clues.
Yeah, that I was.
Yeah.
I went hard on Blue's Clues.
You did.
Freshman year of college.
I used to run home from it. Or run
home from class to make sure I could
class.
watch it. That is no bullshit. That was a real story.
So how appropriate
No,
is
you
it that
didn't
we
need to
brought you in
convince
to do the mailbag?
We were aware.
What was that?
How appropriate is it that we brought you in to do? You started to take over the mailbag.
The
segment.
mailbag, and we started doing it. Yeah. I was like, this glove fits. And that is time. All right.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to episode 12, the episode that I would argue has the best title that we've ever done. July 30th, this episode went up. Episode 12 is Golden Media Showers to the Pequel. Previously, the guys had discussed the present and future of disc golf media. This time, they bring in Leo, quote, Doc Borowski, to give us a look into how he went about bringing disc golf to network television in the early 2000s and how it might possibly have shaped the way we see disc golf today. Also, we crown the winner of our Oreo cramming contest and learn how far Jason would go to get with a late 90s Alicia Silverstone.
Wouldn't we all?
Yeah.
I would argue that if there's one episode that you absolutely need to listen to, this makes the top of the list, 1, 2, 3. It will blow your minds if you are at all interested in disc golf, because he has for sure 100% shaped the way we watch disc golf, if not the way we play and the sport as a whole, even if he's not doing it in the capacity that he was anymore. It'll blow your mind to hear what he was doing and the lengths that he went to try and make that work. Unbelievable.
I think maybe we covered that was probably the most topic of the most historical significance that we covered.
That almost no one knew.
Exactly.
Nobody knows. Yeah.
People are still coming up to me and going, I didn't know that about Doc.
do.
And I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
Everybody knows you can't know where you're going until you know where you're from. And I don't think that disc golf history has enough. No one knows any disc golf history. Like,
Right.
Sure.
I certainly didn't know any of that stuff. Or like,
Guess why it's called a JK AVR? I bet you 95% of the people have no idea
Right.
what JK stands for.
James
Julia
Conrad?
Juliana
James-
Corver.
Wait, Conrad spelled with a K? No.
Just kidding, AVR.
Yeah.
But it was cool to have such rich history in our backyards.
Yeah.
That
nobody knew.
people were
Yeah.
like, oh, the guy that checks my scorecard is like also this dude that tried this thing.
And every time we
almost 20
talk
years
to
ago.
him, we find out more. Like, it's not just what I mean. He could fill 10 episodes worth of disc golf knowledge. And
That
history.
may
It's
also be the
crazy.
episode that we got the most like positive feedback from people too. Like, so many people messaged us on our group account and probably individually to be like, I had no idea. Like, that was the most enlightening content.
I remember being very a little nervous about that episode because I'd like to think that I know Doc pretty well at this point. We've spent a lot of time together, and I've seen him get very animated about that.
Oh yeah.
Subject.
You were worried he was going to
Very
get fired
angry, and I kind of told him like prior, like, let's talk about the light fluffy stuff a little bit, and not so much about like hatred for the PDGA, all this stuff and all these things that happened 18 years ago. So I was nervous about that episode. I was nervous about him being in here, and maybe but it was amazing. He ended up.
He was great. He's obviously a professional, like with audio, and he had like an announcer's voice.
As always.
Not
when
only
he
do we,
says CBS right there at the beginning,
Yeah.
it just makes me smile every time.
yeah, not only does he have all this history with the with the coverage.
Time.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Single time.
This next episode went up August 13th, and if I'm not mistaken, was recorded on August 6th.
My birthday,
That's right. Episode 13.
God, I'm gonna have so many horns in this.
Don't do the crime if you can't do the time.
Yes.
The guys bring in special guest and friend Mark Grabavoy to discuss the methods behind his madness, Incarcerated, the Joliet Prison Putting League, bless you, and the new yet unnamed gold level course being constructed.
Okay.
We also learned that Sean sneezes 3 times in a row. We also learn a new word for ball golf.
Oh, yeah.
And find out exactly how Jason brushes his teeth. Discuss.
Classic.
Balf.
Mark was, man, it's a close competition between Mark and Leo for the most like insightful and uniquely interesting content that we stumbled across this season.
I wish everyone could see the layout of the portfolio that he brought with all of the CAD drawings and everything that he had done in his previous work and, expertise in that field. It just kind of blows you away to think what he had previously done has brought him to here. To what he's doing now.
And you would be excited for any new course. Like you would just like, a new course. I want to check it out. Mm-hmm. But when you see what his talent is like and what his professional background is like, and that's being applied to disc golf course design, you guys have no idea how awesome that thing is going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. So yeah, having him on was, and I know his personality, he's always at a 5. There's never highlights or lowlights when he's talking. So you kind of never know where he's coming from, but he was great. He is all over the place because his mind is just, it's gotta be.
I can't even imagine.
No.
Yeah. It's like I think about people that have like multi-layered thinking like that. And I'm like, I can barely get to 100% of one thing before I move on to the next thing. And I feel like he could do 17 things at once and it wouldn't even phase him.
Right. Yeah.
He's doing 18 things at once.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
How did we end up on the topic of the teeth brushing joke?
We were talking about because that was the episode where we had the throw off,
right?
Where we all threw we were damn near world record distances, I believe, as I recall. I don't remember specifically.
It's coming to me.
450 plus.
We were discussing my shoulder issue,
correct?
And Alex asked me if it was affecting any other aspects of my life without realizing. And spoiler alert! I don't know if you guys figured it out. We were talking about masturbation that episode. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Just brushing it. Wait.
Were we?
Wait.
You got a dart in your neck.
So you guys were just honestly
I love you, man,
talking about
crazy.
brushing your teeth?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I thought it was innuendo.
Just another example of you just being on your own planet.
Yeah. Oh, that's nasty.
Got
so
it.
maybe we weren't talking about masturbation.
Oh, hell no.
But to recap, Mark is amazing. I can't wait to see where that goes. That episode was right up there towards the top. That was really, we were kind of peaking and where we needed to continue.
Time.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't you this time.
I was just vamping.
Final episode 14. We posted this somehow 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. That is August 27th, episode 14, The Wonderkin. The guys are joined by disc golfer Patrick Richard, who in just a few short months has gone from relatively new and inexperienced to hanging out with and beating the big dogs in the MPO field.
Yep.
We talk BMX, we talk bowling, and why Patrick sleeps in the nude. We also find out why Alex enjoys baby wipes and which Pixar movie makes Jason ball like a baby. Discuss.
Oh, that had so much content in it.
Yeah,
it really did.
It did.
So I have a bidet at home that's not installed. A close friend gave it to me for my wedding.
Do you just use it next to your bed as like a water fountain?
All right,
it's not installed. Honestly, listen,
I don't understand.
Liz put together our whole wedding registry. I said I don't want one. We're doing a destination wedding. I don't want to ask people for anything.
Sure.
And she was like, "We're going to do it anyways." And I said, "All right, put a bidet on there." And that was like the one thing that I
put a bidet.
Put a bidet.
Oh my God.
When you hear Ryan make that sound, that's when you win.
This
that's
whole
winning.
time we didn't know.
Oh my God.
Anyways,
how did we not do that before? Oh God.
It's sitting in the box in my bathroom still because I have some like kind of jerry rigged like plumbing situation in my bathroom.
Sure.
I can't wait to move out and install it. In the meantime, I'm just still utilizing my baby wipes, but every time I see it, I'm just like, I want
you could be squirting on my butthole and you're not.
I want that so bad.
It's so oddly sexual. That's my favorite thing from that episode.
I can't see right now.
Sexual.
Oh, my eyes are watering. Oh God,
It is. You can't help it.
That's so good.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like a beehole.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
To speak about Pat Richard, like his whole evolution through the game thus far is amazing. And I loved having him on because there was no expectation and we didn't know what we were going to get, but we knew it was going to be good stuff just because of how he's handled himself thus far.
It was very much like having VJ and Jared on, but solo, and knowing like, okay, these guys are cool in person at the events and everything that we do.
Yeah, a lot less pressure. I felt.
Okay, now let's hang out and be funny. Yeah. And every time we've like hit that mark.
It's a home run every time. Yeah.
You know what? While we're on this topic, or while we're on this episode, I just wanted to. What time does the shop close usually?
6 p.m. every
Good.
Just checking.
single day.
Just checking. Just want to
Just to
confirm.
reiterate.
Yeah.
Nothing changed there. Okay,
Nothing's
good.
changed.
No, what's funny is that pretty soon it's going to change.
Sorry,
for the next
people.
couple weeks, it's going to be 5.
Yeah, so don't listen to what we just said.
Yeah.
We'll just plug the episode and it'll be funny.
When Pat came to his first Glow event a couple weeks ago, he brought his buddy Jake McMillan. I've met Jake before. He's come to other events, and my first thought when I saw him was like, "Fake-ub." It's you, it's Fake-ub.
Yeah, he's
and
not a
Pat
real
was like,
person, but he's real.
no, this is not Fake-ub. This is a different Jake.
Oh, that's right.
damn
Yeah,
it.
it's not Fake-ub.
Yeah, I
That's
don't want to
Jake.
He's got
Fake-ub.
multiple
Fake-ub.
Jacobs in his life.
Yeah.
That was very funny. We also
Time.
said, this is funny. We also said that we would have Patrick Richards' mom on at some time.
Oh,
Because she
sure.
is the sports parent that got him to be sporty.
Oh, yeah.
Sports.
See, that's one of those. That's one of those like 7.5 episode type things that we could do. I would love to do that.
Yeah.
We should definitely have
Disc
at
golf
least
mom.
Just have a Zoom
Could you
meeting with
imagine-
her.
a segment.
Could you imagine the reaction from Pat Richard if we said, "Hey, bro,
I was talking to your mom last night.
How do we get a hold of
No,
your
no.
mom?
Don't.
This is
To have
weird.
your
Yo,
mom
can I
on
get
the
your mom's
episode.
digits, dude?
Oh, that would be so funny.
That's good. Yeah.
Now.
Let's
Right
recap
now,
this episode.
Let's recap this
Yeah.
episode. So
Okay,
I'll give you
so-
guys 3 minutes to discuss what we've been
My
talking about
favorite
for the
part
past
was
2 hours.
when you said, "Put a bidet."
Hey.
Oh God.
This whole episode
can't write
is a
that.
metaphor for the season
Yeah.
to me because we started out slow, rocky, finding our
Scared,
footing.
Yeah.
nervous.
How do we do this again?
Yeah, you
And-
know, ironically, it's kind of good that we gave ourselves that distance because now we were able to mirror these last 15 or 14 episodes.
Oh yeah.
That's so that if you don't know how the editing side of this all works,
The three of us do absolutely nothing.
yeah, Ryan just kind of hangs out and the rest of us do all the editing. No, but
Correct.
really what happens is we sit here, we talk for 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever. Then we send all the equipment and the files home with Ryan, and then a week later, Ryan comes back to us.
No,
with
5 days later,
Yeah,
he
5
comes
days
back
later.
to us with
all these
here's
drops,
what I did,
all these little
and give us a day to be like, what if this fell in? What if that fell in? And
Yes.
then we work it in, and I love that about we didn't discuss that. That's what I love about you. You were just like,
Yeah.
here's what I think. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
and
of
that was
course.
like the
That's
perfect way to approach it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just stoked to be able to use all this stuff because, like we've said before, I had all this equipment and I'd done it for so long. I just, just to be able to get back into it and, start doing this again is amazing. So I'll continue to do it in perpetuity.
Yeah, you'll quash it. I was just thinking from an editing perspective, one of my favorite things, and I'm just gonna say it because he knows he does it. The doc likes to pound the table when he talks.
Oh,
And your face every time he pounded the table.
Actually, Alex
You just
has done
fell.
it about
We
30
even
times.
told him not to do it before.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's still,
I've done it 30 times today.
You were
It
you
won't
were
affect us now 'cause I've
Artax
changed
in the swamp, and every time he pounded the table, you just sank further into the swamp.
At some point, I did give him a microfiber towel to put under
You
his
did
hand.
to put
Yes.
under, and it
Stop
didn't
pounding.
help at all. But from when we're talking about editing, that's your face just
Yeah.
kills me when people do stuff like
It's that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's the stuff that bugs me. Yeah.
like
But-
the fact that I've been over here playing the drums with this pen for the last 2 hours.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
gonna
it's
have to try to
fantastic.
find a
Ooh,
way to
another editing little gem is that when we first started the show, I remember thinking, or we talked about what's our policy on language, and I knew we were just like, let's keep it, as PG-13 as we can, so that if any kids listen, there's no issues, and that's cool. And at some point, that transitioned to
Then-
we can say what we want, and we'll just make Ryan put a clown horn
Right.
over that sound.
My all-time favorite thing with the clown horn is when you have to cover a fuck that lasted 4 seconds,
slow.
and the clown horn goes.
yeah, like super long.
Absolute funniest thing.
I had to stretch it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so.
I really like
So good.
Yeah, the change in speed because Sean will just go through 4 or 5 of them like this, and it just goes.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's great.
I think we've recapped the season, guys.
Yeah, we did it.
Feels like it.
Yeah.
Let's go to things that we have in mind for season 2, just potential things. Forewarning, none of this is for sure going to happen. These are just maybes and things that we would like to explore. Off the top of my head, I know that I am going to push us to do video things. Whether, I don't know exactly how it's going to look.
No.
And I know nobody really wants it, but I think we gotta figure out how to incorporate video.
Yeah, we do. It sucks, but
So there's a couple different ways that we can explore
bet
that.
People would be more inclined to watch than to listen.
There are people, and I don't get it why, but there are people who have been like, hey, is your show on YouTube? And I've been like, no, we don't really do any video. And they're like, it's okay. I just want to listen to it. But can you upload the audio as a YouTube file? Because I don't use Spotify. I don't use any of those other platforms.
we should do that, I guess.
Which
Yeah.
is weird.
And I'm
yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
so at the bare minimum, we should have.
Was there a picture of Ryan's face on there as the 3 hours goes on?
Yeah,
Oh,
or
please.
a wild cherry can, or a toothbrush,
Or just set up a
whatever.
video camera in here and just cover it, even beyond the edits, like post that video. The 3 hours or 3.5 hours of us hanging out, I think would be really cool.
Yeah.
I know I would go back to all the spots where I know that it was super funny and be like, Sheila, watch.
Yeah. Go- Watch this. Where he did this really funny thing.
Watch.
Did you see it? Oh, God, it was so funny.
All right, hang on.
Yeah.
And it's going
Watch
to
it
be funny
again.
to the four of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I have another one. Does somebody else have another thing off the top of their head?
I just have technical stuff. Like I'm looking forward to changing some things up. Like maybe the clown horn changes, or
Ooh, a new horn.
some
That'd be
things.
cool.
To keep it fresh but funny. And
I'm sure that between now and then we will come up with a gajillion. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for
and also we
the
will hear
possibilities.
a gajillion. You know what you should have done.
Yeah, for sure.
So and those are my favorites.
Yeah.
I want to put this one out because I'm hoping to hear from people about this. I have not talked to anybody else about it, really. I don't think. Ryan, you can cut this if you disagree. But I want a intern for the show next year to handle the social media. Basically,
I really like that idea.
every single episode we have a panic at the last minute to go, is somebody going to post the mailbag, or who's going to handle this post? If we had somebody who was just better at it than us and could help us get onto like TikTok and the important shit that
I'm 100% on board because I can't do it.
if you're interested, message me. Don't message everybody.
Nope.
Message me. Let me know if you're interested, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I've got hiring experience.
You're gonna have to start beating everybody
You will be
off.
interviewed
Wait.
and vetted.
Wait,
No. Wait.
Brushing their teeth.
No
In
beating.
my experience, there will be 15 people that will be interested and 0 of them that will actually want to do any work.
They will be vetted. I promise you. If just enthusiasm is not enough for me to go like, yeah, you can do this.
Right.
There.
What do you want me to do?
Oh, work? No.
But yeah, if you're intrigued,
Yeah.
shoot me a message. Before we get out of here, guys, we got to get into the mailbag. Mail time.
Mail time.
Mail time.
Mail time.
Mail time.
Yeah. Ooh, that was juicy.
All right. So we do have a couple of questions. We're going to do 2 tree tonight.
Couple 2 tree.
Couple 2 tree.
Mumchilo.
Tyler Lisak has a question. He wants to know pancakes or waffles? That's a great question.
Waffles every day.
Waffles.
Every single time. I will
I
always.
had blueberry pancakes the other day that were fuego.
Yeah, but you can have blueberry
You
waffles.
could have, put those in.
It's a different
waffle
consistency,
iron
man,
and made
because I have
the same thing.
I've had waffles that are too hard.
I have always said that food is just a vessel for whatever sauce you're going
You
to
have
put it
said
on.
that.
Correct?
Yes. Yeah.
And you are correct.
And waffles are the perfect example of that.
They have little
little
tiny
tiny
cups.
bowls to
Yes.
hold sauce.
Butter and syrup.
Yeah.
GD.
Okay, so
All right, waffles,
you're
but it's
right.
got to be good.
Okay.
So when perfectly cooked,
Perfect waffle.
Waffle.
No question.
All right.
Yeah. I'll go waffle
Done.
every time. Vince Remmers has a question. Who is the most underrated Office character and why?
that's great.
Great question.
I don't know if he's the most, but Toby is a riot. And he was one of the writers on the show.
Yeah.
And was basically forced to play that character and kind of didn't want to be a character on the show the entire time.
Right.
And it's just kind of like going through the motions, but killing it. He was hilarious.
Toby's ideal scene is when Michael falls in the koi pond, and then he says that this isn't the first pond that or the first fountain that he's fallen into.
Sure.
And Toby breaks down and says, "You've fallen into multiple koi ponds." And Michael looks at him. He's like, "Can I be kicked out of this meeting?" Like that is like that kills me every single time. That
The
happens.
hand on Pam's leg and that whole thing.
Oh
is
my
I recently
gosh.
watched that.
Dude.
Yeah.
He jumps the fence.
Oh
gets
God,
out there.
it's so funny.
good.
He's and he didn't even know he was going to be playing
Jim's
that
face
character.
when
Yeah.
he puts
Yeah.
the hand on the
They
neck.
all, Does the entire room just like turn and look at his hand on the leg?
Oh, so good.
My God. I had a different answer, but you full on changed my mind. You're right.
What was your answer?
What was your answer?
Creed.
Oh,
As was mine.
God, he's so good.
Yeah.
Creed's amazing, but like in a different way.
Yeah.
So if I'm
when
going to
he
go
gets on that
underrated,
bus
like
and
his
he's like
question-
playing hooky from work today.
Yeah. Creed was
The
just
places,
silly.
the places
Toby's
they
underrated.
could have gone with that guy's character development are insane.
Yes.
Dude, the mung beans in the drawer. Oh my God. So funny.
All right. We'll do 2 more questions. Your brother, Nicholas Seminary, wants to know, are there discs with the Unstable Discourse logo on it? And I think that's a great idea.
That's a valid question. And no, there is not.
Yet.
I wonder if we know a guy.
Yeah.
Is there
What
anybody
disc
that
would we
could
put
talk
them
to
on?
about? Ooh.
I think more importantly, shouldn't it have like the logo dead center and maybe like 4 dudes' signatures on it? And then it's like has gold print on it and all of our signatures. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Ooh.
Just thinking out loud. I think that would look pretty bad.
You called it gold print. If you were a real disc golfer, you would know that it is a gold
foil.
My man. Yes, good.
Gold foil. Final question of the night, and I would argue is the most important question that we got on the mailbag. Tom Samborski wants to know, when does Jason get his own spinoff? And that is a great question, Tom.
Your unbiased opinion, huh?
Keep an ear out, Tom. I'm just going to leave it at that. Keep an ear out, and we'll see what happens.
No, I'm not going to edit it for you.
Yes, you are.
No.
You're going to be on it.
Nope.
2021 is going to be the year of Jason.
Listen, I will, if you want to do the movie podcast, I'll do it. It'll sound an eighth as good as what Ryan can do. It'll be very obviously amateur, but I'll do it if you want to do it.
Just
If we
to do
can't
it.
find somebody else, I'll do it.
Yeah, keep an ear out, Tom.
I love watching the amateur stuff, personally.
That's my go-to.
I mean, wait, podcasts?
I thought we were talking about brushing teeth.
No, I'm sorry. Continue.
All right. Well, that is a wrap on the last mailbag of season 1.
Oh.
And it brings
Say it ain't
us
so.
to the conclusion of this episode. Before we all say goodbye, I wanted to take a moment to encourage all of you listeners to do us a favor, do your little part to help grow the sport. And I'm sure that you all do it in your own ways. I know that. I'm not taking that away from anybody. But when you drop a review for this show, whether it's on Apple or Google or Facebook or whatever,
right.
Every review helps this show get to more people. And the whole goal of this show is to get more people more serious about disc golf. Yeah. And I think at everybody's core as a disc golfer, what you want is to help grow the sport. And the simple act of leaving a review for this show will genuinely help grow the sport. So,
and just line our pockets with money because we're making
a killing.
Yeah.
Ooh, speaking of which, season 2 sponsors. We got to look into sponsors for season 2.
We do, yeah.
But yeah, seriously, I know we've touched on that a few times throughout this season. I'm coming to you direct now. A review for the show would go a long way. We'd really appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
We do the show mostly for fun, but there's other purposes behind it, and I think the biggest one is to help grow the sport. So your reviews will help us do that. Do it, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's it, guys. That's a wrap on season 1.
Holy shit.
Of Unstable Discourse.
I just want to say thanks to everybody. We were at the Shanty Classic last weekend, and I had half a dozen people stop me and tell me how much they missed, the show and how much they listened. And I'll say Rafa likened missing the show to withdrawal from
like a drug addiction.
And he said that we need to do one, and you should see his eyes lit up when I said we're going to do one on Thursday. It's amazing to talk to people about it and how engrossed in it they are, and we're just 4 dudes just having a good time recording,
hanging out, talking about disc golf,
not thinking that this is going to be anything, and it's turned into something that people really look forward to, and it's all because of you guys. So
should we get some Unstable Discourse tissues out again?
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know if I can say this last goodbye.
Ooh.
Go on.
Ooh.
All right.
Don't say goodbye.
Do not
say we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Oh.
Keep it tight.
See ya.
Get the fuck out.
Peace.
Unstable Discourse is a Top Secret Studios production.